Hello, family and friends.
Hello.
Hey. Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Talks with Lim Lee. This video podcast is also available on YouTube if you're listening on, via audio podcast, and or it's available on YouTube if you're listening on any major podcasts. I'm your host, Lim. I'm a software engineer.
Hello, my name is Emmett. I'm a Las Vegas realtor and an overall pretty nice dude. I recommend going to the YouTube because you can see the silly shit that happens non-auditory, non-auditory silly stuff.
Audible? No, screw it. Whatever.
Audible. Yeah.
And then this is?
And I'm Isaac. I'm a bartender here in Las Vegas. I've actually worked with Emmett. He's not just a realtor, or he is a realtor now, but a really amazing bartender. So
yeah, I know Isaac from my bartending days.
Yeah.
We used to fight behind the bars.
Yeah. We used to have good times back there, though.
How often did you guys work together? Because I mean, the shifts are kind of
I'm on call over at the Cosmopolitan, so I can work all the different bars that are around, and like it just depends on what I get called in for. Like he used to work at Vesper Bar, and so there'd be some nights I'd work with him a few hours, and we'd do it there, and then right at the end of your bartending career, it was the Opium Show, right?
Opium Show, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know he was doing real estate on the side?
He can make an amazing popcorn for you. He hated that, I think.
Dude, I was like, I'm 42 years old.
He's squeezing those packs of butter like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. He's more crafty, and he's better than that. So
I was hanging in there for the health insurance and the benefits, and I was like, I make enough money in real estate. I shouldn't be here making fucking popcorn.
Yeah, but it was a secure thing. So I'm sure.
Yeah, it was smart. Yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah. Did you know he was doing real estate on the side when he was bartending?
I did, and I found out too late. I actually got another cocktail server to be my realtor. When I bought the house.
Emmett.
I know.
Well, no, I didn't want to be obnoxious at work. I wanted to separate those worlds.
Yeah.
Because
he mentioned it a few times. It was just, I don't know. I just didn't like.
She had bigger boobs.
There you go. Yeah, that's usually the case. That's usually the case. That's what works at the bars and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you get my attention.
So how long have you been bartending?
Going on about a decade, I want to say.
A decade.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the best stories you have from bartending?
Oh, well, we'll go talking about.
Speaking of boobs.
Yeah, speaking of boobs.
Yeah.
If you want to start right off the bat with that, every night's just a different thing. So you can run into somewhere that is like a self-proclaimed devil worshiper / Justin Timberlake. That's what the guy did. He ran through the front door, busted in, and started with this Hail Satan thing. And he ran on. And I was working this jazz bar this jazz bar at this time. And it was super sophisticated. Everyone was having steaks, and this guy just busts in, Hail Satan! And we're like, oh my God. And he runs on stage and actually grabs the mic from the girl and finishes the song. And the only reason he jumped in on that is because he was apparently this Justin Timberlake fan, and that's what she was doing a cover of. And so he was singing this thing. I'm like, what? And the band never stopped playing. They never skipped a beat. I was like, is everyone just letting this shit happen?
Wait, is this a classy karaoke steak joint?
No.
Describe the venue, because
I'm
trying to put the pieces together here.
Yeah, I used to work at this place called Jazz Bar in downtown Albuquerque, and the place was, it was fine steaks, fine wines, craft cocktail bar. They'd have a little small stage on the side where they bring in soul and R&B singers and stuff like that, and jazz artists. And it's supposed to be pretty sophisticated, but it was downtown Albuquerque, so one street over, there was a place called the Library, which is a biker bar / just college hangout, and there's a lot of druggies and homeless and just crazy stuff.
And Satan dudes.
Yeah, and Satan people just running around. So that's just what it was. So I was I don't know, just you'll see stuff like that, or actually at the same bar, there was a girl that came in and she sat at one side of the bar, and she goes, and this is a really clean place. She shouldn't have been smelling things, but she goes, kind of smells over here. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, she's like, I don't know, it just kind of stinks over here. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe let me clean it off a little bit. She's like, no, it still stinks. So I was like, let me move you to this side of the bar. So I moved her on this other side. She's like, it still stinks. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, and I'm sorry. Maybe, I don't know, something happened. And she flips her hair and just goes, There was just like throw up on her hair. Some other curdled mess up there. It was like, oh,
maybe it's
God.
you.
Yeah. I'm like, oh. So like, you see stuff like that, or like, I mean, I've seen like, I'll go down to pick up a napkin and I look under a table and I see somebody getting like finger banged or something. Or I actually had some people ordering a Patron shot from me at the bar. I was at a nightclub, and I had them ordering a Patron shot from me, and I see them moving like this. I'm thinking, are they dancing? Like, wait a second. He's ordering with one hand. I'm like, what's going on? And yeah, he's just like finger blasting her while ordering. I thought it was amazing. I'm like, whoa.
Life is good. Wait, was this also in Albuquerque? Or is
Yeah, Albuquerque's pretty rough. Vegas does their stuff too. I've seen some stuff out here too.
Well, it's funny because Vegas, people come to Vegas to go ape shit and be knuckleheads. So I'm wondering if Albuquerque is just as bad.
It could be.
Or is it a different flavor of wild?
I think it's about the same, man. Like, just like crime has no location, I think fun has no set location. Everyone acts stupid when they can, you know?
Get a couple of fireball shots in you. And
that's what it takes. Patrons, fireballs, whatever.
You got one strand of hair. Maybe if you...
Hey, you guys actually caught me on the best day you can, because I actually ran out of hair product. That's probably what's going on.
You got a pretty good...
I tried to go with the Emmett haircut. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Right on. I was like, if he's not here, I'm gonna be
This is
the
as
Emmett.
good as we ever look,
Except for me. This is the worst I probably look like.
All this lighting doesn't help me out. I worked in a dark industry because I heard the dark helps with your good looks.
So something that I think Emmett's mentioned to me with bartending, people come in, they may not have a social life or they aren't very social at work, so they come to the bar often wanting to be social, and that is their social moment. Do you kind of see that?
I do. They'll come and like talk to you for a few hours, but I feel like sometimes too much is too much, information.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll come to you with all your problems. I know, like, typically, like, they feel that comfortability with the bartender because we have to interact with them, so that they almost feel like you're like their instant best friend, or like their
Well, and they get a couple drinks in them too, right?
Yeah. I mean,
what are the best and worst customers?
Hookers.
best. Yeah. Actually, there's a hooker that does something pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen this. It was at a bar we worked at. But she would tilt. You know what a cognac snifter is, right?
No.
It's that little bulby type of glass.
Okay.
It almost looks like a little mini wine glass.
Yep. Okay.
So she would order a Hennessy in a snifter and turn it sideways, and that meant she was open for business. And I was like, what the heck? And people would swarm, or like a few guys that obviously knew what the deal was would swarm to her. And then she turned up. I mean, she was closed, and she would go and do her thing, and I would save her drink. And it was like, she was never like going to the guests and like getting them to actually buy her. People already knew.
Was she super hot or something?
Yeah, she looked like Britney Spears, dude. She was super hot.
Yeah,
she still is super hot. Yeah.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about this.
But yes, but what was
best and worst?
That was the best thing.
No. Best are just really good personalities. You know what I mean? Sometimes like a huge tip just won't cut it if you're an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's times where you're like, look, you're insulting me with your $100. Take it back, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't want your money. Just get out of here, man. It's
if you could say something to people that they almost, I think I hear stories of people working in hospitality where people feel entitled coming either to a bar or restaurant. They treat the server a certain way. It's like, well, I'm paying you to give me service. Is there something that comes to mind to you? What people shouldn't do or what they shouldn't think of in those? Like, why are they entitled, and or how can you fix it in one sentence or more?
Ooh.
One long sentence, please.
Sorry, many sentences. Sorry.
Yeah, I think just maybe it's because they know we have to get to them. Like obviously we're getting paid to hang out with you, or we're getting paid to like serve you. So I don't know. Maybe they just feel like almost like they own us for that moment. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's this. If you're a good person, you remember that other person is a human being.
Yeah.
And they're here. It's a job. They got bills to pay.
That just happens in life too. You have to remember that.
Yeah, like no matter what the job is, right? The guy that's washing your car or the landscaper that's out in 100 degrees, you know, clipping bushes.
Yeah, I'll give him a water. I'll give him a beer. I'll buy him lunch. You know what I mean?
Just remembering that it's a human being. It's when you see them as the position or see them as the servant, that's when it dehumanizes and it breaks down.
Do both of you, either of you, think that these people act that way there at the bar, but then say when they go home or when they're at the job, they're a completely different type of person, that they're actually really freaking normal?
I'm sure. Or
I mean, I'm sure there's
everyone has their inner dickhead. You know what I mean? And maybe it just sits with them longer with some people, but I don't know. Or and people with these like the cell phone things nowadays, I think people just look at people almost like a materialistic thing, like you can go on and just get your instant gratification on Instagram or whatever you're looking at, so maybe
there's probably a dozen different reasons why. If you're at work and you're a nobody and you got this built up rage, maybe you get a couple drinks in you and it makes you feel better to treat somebody else a certain way, or your parents didn't love you and you're mad at your parents. There's probably a million different reasons.
I had a friend who was a bartender that once he had those drinks in him, it's like he forgot what he was doing. Like, it's like, you're a bartender, you know how you want to be treated, but then the second he gets a drink, he'll treat somebody else bad. Like, we were at a Starbucks at one of the casinos, and he ordered a coffee and one of those little, it was like a croissant type thing. And then at the last minute, after he paid, he wanted to switch it to like a biscotti. And he's like, can I just trade this for that? And she's like, well, they're two different prices and I'll have to exchange it. And she was being super nice. And he's like, are you fucking dumb? Like, are you stupid? Like, just do it. And I'm like, dude, you don't need a drink no more. Like, the coffee, I was like, thank God we're getting coffee and getting out of here. Cause I was like, I mean, that's just how his personality was. Now we're no longer friends, obviously, because of this kind of stuff, So, I mean, yeah, it's just people are people, they act stupid sometimes.
Jumping back to Emmett's hooker comment earlier.
I was just kidding.
Do you have a different perspective on prostitutes now working in the bar industry? Do you have a different perspective now than before you worked in the bar industry on prostitutes and hookers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from a super small town that pretty much only has like 22,000 people in it. So everyone knows each other, and there's pretty much no prostitution there. And if there is, I don't know about it, or if it's far away and they must be getting called in, this is not a thing. So, like, it was a
wait. There's no truck stop there.
Yeah, there's a truck stop, but there, or maybe I was young and just naive and not seeing this thing, and like, it was a super shock to come to like Vegas or even Albuquerque when I was working downtown. You'd see this kind of stuff, but coming to Vegas, I was like, whoa. I was like, this stuff is just everywhere. Like, even one of the streets on the way home, like, there's about like a good 1.5 mile stretch that you just see these girls just walking around. You're like, oh my God, like, it's just all over the place. But now,
you going home on Boulder Highway or what?
up on Tropicana by the Orleans.
Not even on your way home, man. I know where you.
Maybe they're all going to that late night buffet or something. I don't know.
Scenic route, Emmett.
I don't know what it is. I drive home. I see 100 different hookers.
There we go.
What was your thoughts of prostitution before? Then what's your thoughts of it now?
Just always seemed like a crazy thing that, I don't know. Like, I just thought only it was a real low life kind of thing to do. Like, people didn't I always seen it in movies with like, maybe it was like attached to like a heroin binge or something like that, and you'd get like prostitutes like that. Now I see it like there's some seriously rich people and seriously like there's like, I don't know, some pretty dominant people in this city like actually going out for prostitutes, and maybe it's just a thing. I don't know. Yeah. But it's kind of, I don't know about more normal. It's just like easier to look at now and just be like, okay, well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's still people, like actually some of the prostitutes are like have the most fun things to say, the most nice people. They know how to tip. They're like super, super cool when it comes to the bartending game or anything like that. But yeah.
How about you, Emmett?
I would say if you, like say you finish high school or whatever, you have no interaction with this world and you have this naive idea of, out there you can pay hot women for sex somewhere, right? Like the details are all missing. It's just this vague idea. But you come to a place like Vegas and you work at certain bars and you see a lot of it around because some people come to Vegas looking for that, right? Some dude from Minnesota, he's coming out here for his work convention. This is his one chance away from his community of 22,000 people where nobody will know that he wanted to be a dirtbag. You know, or well, maybe that's not the right way to put it. This is his one chance at freedom, you know, and if
his marriage is going bad, he's like,
he hadn't had sex in 5 years, and you know, he can, you know, if he loses $1,000, he can say, oh, you know, played it on a blackjack, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a good place to do that kind of thing.
It's an opportunity to get wild away from home, kind of similar to all of Vegas, right? It's a chance to be somebody you're not at home, and then for the prostitutes themselves, if it's a woman that chooses to do it, you know, a lot of them are in rough lives or rough backgrounds, but it's conceivable that there are some women that just choose to do it.
Yeah, like, some of these girls are smart and they go with, like, they'll seek these rich guys out and they end up like quitting that little like prostitution thing and end up being the person's woman, you know. You're like, wow.
Or you know, if you put it to me like smart. Like, hey, I got nothing going on, you know, if somebody wanted to pay you, you know, $500 or $1,000 for sex, I'd be like, well, fuck yeah, I need money and I need sex. Like, those are the two things. You know, there are many times in my life where that would have sounded like the greatest thing on earth. Like, you want to pay me for sex?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, sure.
You
sounds great.
Throw a burger in there too. Like, what? So as long as you don't have a hang up about the activity of sex or
burger and thighs,
or the idea of paying for it, right? So in the U.S. we have a lot of taboo and a lot of religious, you know, a lot of shame, a lot of stuff tied into the idea of sex, more than other countries. So then it's weird in the U.S. So look at the U.S. 2 adults can choose to have sex with each other. Cool, right? If one of them wants to pay the other one, oh no, that's illegal. You're doing something crazy. That's terrible, right? If you want to pay the other one and film it, like, oh yeah, that's porn now, I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it's weird, ain't?
So, so what are these rules? It's all kind of silly. So really, you look at each person and you go, you know what? Is this a healthy person? Did they choose to do that? Great. If they're in a tough situation and they'd rather be doing something else, then I wish there was a way we could help them, you know, get to where they want to get to.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line between choosing to do it and being stuck in it. And I think there are some people that paint it as always, oh, it's sex trafficking and nobody would ever choose that. And they're all victims and they're all kidnapped and they're all, you know, shipped across state lines.
Yeah, that was kind of my original like thoughts, you know, that it was just like they were trapped in this. But now that I see they're just more free to do it if they want to do it, you know what I mean? There's a lot of these girls just making a lot of money doing this thing.
From an international standpoint on how like America is so polarizing on so many topics, guns, sex on TV, porn, but then not in a paid thing for 2 people. But like in Vietnam 10 years ago when I was there, dated this girl where she was from her family wasn't as rich. And so as I was dating her, I just, she mentioned a story where she's like, yeah, I was actually interested in working in one of those, either like it was not a brothel,
like a sexy girl club.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Like a nightclub where sexy girls hang around.
Yeah, and it was interesting to get her perspective, where she knew some of the girls there were selling more than looks. There, but the perspective, what it seemed like, she was the way she said, like, yeah, all guys want sex, and that's acceptable. Where you hear here in America, where it's like it's a dirty thing or it's not accepted.
Yeah.
For her perspective is like, well, that's what guys want. I'm going to go work there and try to make some money, bring it back home. And then she even said, she's like, I haven't thought about going further, but it's just she couldn't go through with it. It's just her thing. But she never looked down at anybody else that did it. And she totally understood the financial means of it. Yeah. And there wasn't like a stigma like there is here in America. Like, of quite a few of the Vietnamese girls I talked to, they just view it as most guys like sex. And to some degree, it's kind of funny because some of the girls I talked to...
Like is kind of a soft word for that.
Yeah.
Some of the things women think of men here, say, I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, just like earlier when I said dirtbag, because that's our American view. You want to do some dirtbag stuff. And it's like, well, you know, I roll that back. That's not...
Yeah, it's not.
We wake up with a boner. Like, we're programmed. Like, women will never understand how wired the male brain is.
Right.
Like, you could have a conversation and try to explain it, and it just never gets through because they're thinking on a whole different track. They've got so many other. They're worried about will my friends approve of this guy? Will they? Is he taller than me when I wear heels?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion and thought behind their thoughts.
Yeah, it's a lot of silly stuff.
There's a slight in Vietnam. Maybe the people I've talked to, I feel like it was 75% of the girls I talked to, so it was a majority.
And you interviewed thousands, right?
Yeah. This podcast thing has been going on a long time. Their perspective on guys cheating in a relationship was more acceptable there, where I feel like here in America, when you mention like, oh, this guy cheated on his wife or something, it's frowned upon heavily.
He's a motherfucker.
Well, it's a marriage breaker and a life destroying event, right?
They'll take everything you have.
Yeah, where over there in Vietnam, it was kind of interesting. Their perspectives, like, well, you kind of expect a guy to do that. No, they weren't. They didn't say it was right. They're just saying, yeah, that's pretty crappy for the guy to cheat on his wife.
More of a common thing.
Yeah.
That's more rational. Like, yeah, nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, be a lot.
Marriage is weird, anyways. That's a weird concept. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, careful!
I'm just saying, like we all kind of made that up as people over the years. So, like, I mean, it's honorable and it's great, but I understand what you're saying.
For our audio audience, Isaac is the only one here wearing a ring on the particular finger. That
I've been with her for 10 years. I'm not doing anything.
I'm married and not wearing a ring.
Oh, you fucker!
I'd rather go to
you
sleep
dirtbag.
anymore. I'm tired. But yeah.
I don't. Yeah, Liem says it's more comfortable without the ring, and she's.
My finger is now having like an indention. I gotta say, like it actually kind of
leaving its mark on you. Yeah.
I'm like, God.
Now even if you take it off,
that's how you know. Yeah. Like for the guy with a skinny ring finger. It's like, geez, big knuckle right there.
Yeah. No, that's true. Different countries and different cultures all have their own views of that particular. Yeah. Activity. And honestly, like if you come from a place where you're poor, like, hey, am I going to starve? Or you like go hang out with these rich dudes and try to get some money? Like, I ain't going to blame you. Like, what the fuck would I do? I mean, starving sucks.
Yeah. Like I'm actually surprised now that you say that there wasn't more prostitution in my town, or maybe there was, I don't know. It's just,
you weren't the rich guy.
I just wasn't the rich guy. But like, yeah, there was a lot of panhandling and stuff like that. And like, but I'm like,
Well, tell us more about, so Isaac's probably the best thing I've ever seen come out of New Mexico. What can you tell us about life there? Because most of us, New Mexico's a place. We don't know anything about it.
Some people don't even know it's part of the United States. For some reason, oh, you're from New Mexico? Okay. And they think like you're part of Mexico. It's like, no. We're still here. Like, we're not just this big square cut out of the United States,
Yeah, like if you took Arizona and took out the big cities, then I would imagine that's what New Mexico is. That?
Yeah, it's very beautiful, very vast. There's a lot of empty space, but I mean, it's a really good place to grow up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of
not a lot of prostitutes around.
Not a lot of prostitutes, but a lot of friends, and everyone kind of knows each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I knew all the business owners, so I'd walk in. They already kind of knew what you were doing and what you wanted to eat. Or
shoplifting.
I almost felt like growing up, like like that like you see mobsters, like they walk in, they already have the table prepped. It was just kind of like that. It was kind of a crazy thing, but.
This dude wants a double meat burrito with the extra green sauce.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it was super cool growing up. And I made a lot of friends and I had a lot of great memories, but there was like no opportunities once you grew up. So maybe I'll go back there when I retire or something like that. But
is it hotter than Vegas?
No, it's actually got full seasons. You got
okay.
Winter, fall, spring, like summer. Summer can get hot. It'll get past 100, but it's not for the longevity. Like we're 114 for what? Like 3 months?
You get like 3 solid months.
Yeah, this is a hot place. I don't even know why I moved back to another desert. I should have went to a beach.
Better bars.
Yeah, better bars. That's actually the reason why I'm here.
Well, so there's a difference. In Vegas, you could make a solid career out of bartending, where a lot of places it's not a great career. It's a minimum wage, tips.
Well, that's why I did it, because like I was actually going to school for nursing. Like as soon as I hit 18, I was a dialysis tech, and it was me and my friend Alan. We were working together for 4 or 5 years doing that and going to school. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be in this healthcare thing. I mean, there's a lot of honor in doing that job, and it was great and everything. And I got to see like a bunch of different like levels of that. Like I worked as a CNA as well, so I'd have to do the like really intensive care, people with amputated limbs and stuff like that, and having to roll and do bed changes and just see all these like really crazy things and work with kids. But I don't know, I just couldn't see myself doing that for a long time. So I was like, I gotta find another avenue of making money, but I couldn't keep racking up more student loans. So I was like, I gotta do something. And we were going out pretty much Sunday through Sunday, going out to drink after shifts. So I would see these bartenders with big tip jars, and I was like, I want some of that. That's kind of a cool thing. I wonder if that job's hard. And then I ended up finding like
that's the secret, is all bartenders started off as alcoholics.
Yeah. Well, we were having fun in his early 20s, but yeah, I was like, I want some of that, and I think I can make some decent money while I try to figure out what I want to do with my life. And then yeah, it was just, like years later, I was like, I'm actually pretty decent at this. I should try my luck in Vegas, and that's what took me here. Now I can actually see myself doing this as a career, and there's other things that you can do besides bartending. Like you can work for a different brand or something like that, or actually specialize in a specific thing and go that route. But
and in Vegas you can get in Vegas you can get 40 hours a week and get health insurance and get a decent pay rate because of the unions in town. There's good and bad with unions, but the unions,
even non-union places like the Venetian, that Adelson he treats his employees good.
He did it to keep the unions out.
Yeah,
like he was always 50 cents higher than the union.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to go now. He's gone now.
Yeah, that's a different. So we're talking about the Venetian. Actually, did they get sold? Different owner, and
I believe they did get sold.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of changes there, but
that'll be union in a year.
Yeah, but in most places, if you want to be a bartender, say you're at an Applebee's or some nightclub somewhere, you'll get like 32 hours a week, so that you don't get the health insurance, and then you're trying to live on those tips, on minimum wage. So
it was
different.
Like for me, it was a struggle coming up. I like that jazz club. There was a lot of shady stuff going on with the management behind the scenes, and we would just be making enough hours while we were getting full paychecks. But then with that shady stuff going on, they're like, oh, you can work as many hours as you can, but then they stopped paying us checks. It was super crazy.
Oh, under the table. And
like it was
don't call out the club. It's going to go out on the internet now.
Well, the club's gone.
The club's gone? Oh.
Yeah,
they fucked up.
Yeah, they fucked up. But I was like, they were just paying us this badly, and I was like, man, I don't know if this is gonna be a career thing. Is like, obviously this is not what I wanted to do, but
wait, so
I kept doing this, and then I was like,
yeah, but what happened with the chick with the puke in her hair? Did you take her home that night, or what was the?
Someone did. Someone did. Yeah, someone ended up talking to that girl and taking her home. I think I had told you that before.
No,
oh God.
I can't smell very well, so
yeah. She went to the restroom and did a little hand soap wash and got some lemon zesty freshness to her.
Back in action.
Someone took her home. Yeah,
with that pink soap.
Oh, yeah. These girls, man. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
What the difference of bartending in Albuquerque versus Vegas? So
super different.
Yeah. Describe some differences.
Super different. I even worked at the casinos over there because there's a lot of Native American casinos. But Vegas is just a whole different game. Like this is just way bigger on a grand scale. Like our back bars in those casinos were maybe like 50 bottles that you can see. Over here, I mean, you got hundreds and thousands of bottles just sitting in the storage. So
the volume is
the volume's huge. The amount of people, like a busy night there is pretty much just a normal night here, So, I mean, Vegas, Vegas is the real deal.
But that was part of the attraction to me. Like when the day that you think, oh, maybe I'd like to be a bartender, right? You're fantasizing about the awesome bar where everything's popping and just 1,000 people, and you're just, like a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's the real fantasy of like, oh, everything's awesome. We're fucking jamming. We're having a party. We're making a ton of money. And not every night's like that. Very few nights, for every month of, lame shifts, and you might get one great, fun party night. But yeah, that movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise, the first half of that movie is the bartender fantasy. The second half of that movie gets depressing really fast. So I don't understand. Like it just goes into the gutter and never comes back. He dies in the gutter in that movie. So
it's just a random movie.
Yeah, it's strange that way. It starts off great.
No, but yeah, I mean, maybe it was like that in the 80s and 90s with the flair bartending and like this really excitement. But people are
at TGI Fridays across the nation.
People are more sophisticated now, or maybe just people don't know how to have fun in bars anymore. I don't know.
No, it was a movie. It was all fantasy.
What makes a fun night for either of you on bartending?
There's different. You can have an easy night. That's
probably
fun.
someone to work with. That's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone I knows that's going to do a good job, and then having like a good support staff for your bar backs and stuff like that, and then like. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just everything. Like good guests coming in, great tippers. You're having fun. Music's good. You know, you have everything you need, and yeah, you're just talking.
So some of my best shifts were like New Year's Eve shifts.
Oh man,
I did one at Hard Rock where they have a center bar, and then they built a second center bar called Lux. This is way back. I think Lux Bar was on the other end, and it was similar to the center bar. But I walked in for a New Year's Eve shift, and everybody wants to be off New Year's Eve, right? So I think I walked in, it's like 8 p.m. or something, and the 3 bartenders that were there couldn't wait to get off the bar.
Why? It was just super busy? Or
they were slammed all day, and they wanted to go to their party, right? So those guys fucking bounced with their money, and then it was me with 3 deep on this whole bar, and I just rocked the whole bar for 8 hours.
If you're good and you know you're good, that's a fun time too. When you're kicking ass and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was doing a 3D for 2-3 hours in a row, and I didn't even think I drank water or took a deep breath that whole time. That
I didn't even take a break. I just went straight 8 hours.
That could be fun, yeah.
So it's fun because you feel like...
it's actually been like that lately.
Yeah? So Vegas is open again.
Well, Vegas is at 100% now,
Yeah.
occupancy. Well, most of the casinos, Cosmo being one, and it's been busy, man.
Yeah.
Real solid.
I think it's similar to sports. Like you don't want to be the backup kicker that comes in, for the garbage point that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In some random game against the Lions. You want to be in the Super Bowl with the game-winning touchdown
Brady,
drive,
man.
right? So I think very much like sports, you go into these moments where everything's awesome and you got to perform, and it becomes very much like
everything
that.
you've learned all comes into one big play. You're like, yes, I'm badass at this.
Yeah, and they go, hey, can you make a blue slammer? I'm like, nope, sorry.
It's actually why I love this job. You know what I mean? Like I never felt that with healthcare when I was doing that. Like even though I was busy, I was kind of like, oh, it's just not for me. This motivates me. This is
it's fun. It's exciting. Yeah,
energy that motivates me every day, and it actually keeps me young. Like I'd probably be like 400 pounds right now if I wasn't working that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because man.
Where did you
There's a lot of good food out here in Vegas.
Where did you learn to mix drinks, taste it, and kind of the start of that?
So like I left Gallup around 2016, and I was doing the healthcare for a little while, and then I want to say it was about
Gallup was the healthcare company you were working for?
No, Gallup's the town I used to live in. And then I moved to Albuquerque, and then that's actually where I met my mentor, Danny. And I was working at a sister hotel, and I'll pretty much tell you like the whole how I got into it. I was kind of bored with healthcare, and I seen a guy pushing around a big liquor cart. It's like, hey, let me stop you. And I was about to go to the nightclub. I was like, let me stop you. Where are you going with all that liquor? You work for the nightclub? He's like, yeah, I'm actually the manager. I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, let me ask you a question. How do you start bartending? I didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? I didn't know any bartenders. Like I knew the bartenders that were there, but I didn't have them as actual friends or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I get in? And he's like, well, you have any experience? I said, no, none. He's like, well, you might want to try barbacking. That was the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah.
But I did see the guys in the shadows in the back just stocking up stuff. So I was like, are those guys? And I was like, okay. I was like, well, how do you do that? And he's like, well, how serious are you of doing this? And I think they were really in desperate need of a barback. So he actually tells me, why don't you come back on Monday and talk to me? I got to kind of move this. He's like, here's my name. And he gave me a little thing. And I was like, all right. So then I came back Monday. He pretty much gave me the job on the spot with no experience. I'm like, okay. And then I took on a role as a barback, training with these other bartenders because there was no other barbacks come to find out. Like, okay, so I don't know how to do this job. And it was super crazy. And what I thought was a normal shift is actually really abnormal for barbacks because most barbacks have 1, maybe 2 bars to deal with. I was dealing with up to 9 bars for an entire shift. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like small banquet bars, big bars, restaurants. And I was moving, like building bars. My hours were like 10 to 12 hour shifts. They're rough.
So barback, you got to stock all the ice, make sure it's got all the liquor, basically set up all the material stuff that you
limes
need to get it.
Juices.
And then if the bartender needs anything or runs out of anything or has something where it's away from the bar, the bartender can't leave.
Yeah, you want the bartenders the showman. He's there always working, always in front of the guests. And you're the eyes and ears of the whole place. Like, you know what's out in the kitchen, you know what's out in the bar. Yeah, like you said, you're looking for items that are going short, so you have a backup. As soon as it goes, like bottle of vodka is empty, boom, it's replaced. And because I worked those 9 bars and doing that and seeing all that, I got pretty damn good pretty fast. And then I was like, okay, I think I want to become a bartender. And they were like, no. Like,
well, they need you.
We need, yeah. They didn't want to move me. And I was like, oh man. I was like, well, what if I find a replacement for you? And they're like, and what would you do? I was like, you guys have that sister hotel opening up, or sister hotel with a nightclub bar thing opening up, I heard. And they're like, so you really want to try bartending? And they're like, well, go see Danny.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I saw Danny, and I walked into a super weird bar. Like, it was in the lobby of this like Native American themed hotel. And in between the bottles, like, you'll see like a bunch of scotch bottles, and then in between there'd be like a set of basil leaves growing. And then in between that, some rosemary, and then in between that, some mint. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then on the bar top in the corner, there was a bunch of different salts, different colors, and like things I've never seen. I'm like, wait a second, I've been barbacking for these 9 bars and I've never seen any of this shit. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? And I was like, why do you have all this? And he goes, well, this is more of a craft cocktail bar. I was like, well, what's craft cocktailing? Like, and I was still just a novice up to this point. I'm just thinking, okay, I mean, can I work here? Like, is this something I can do, or is this like super, super advanced? And I was like, well, let me go. Do you need No? Okay.
Hopefully Liem will get it.
All right. I was like, let me
Amazon package.
I know, right? Something good.
Our doorbell just rang.
I was like, well, let me learn from
I hope
you.
it's strippers.
Oh, you got them, huh? Just kidding. Shut the cameras off. No.
No, roll it. So
Yeah, okay.
you were witnessing the birth of mixology.
Yeah, actually, before mixology was even like a mainstream word, like this guy.
So this was kind of before it was mainstream.
Yeah, well, at least before I knew it was a mainstream thing.
Okay.
Like, I didn't hear this anywhere. I didn't see no publications on the word mixology. Like, I mean, the word mixology is an old word, like, that they used to describe bartenders of the day. But yeah, I didn't hear it up to that point. I was like, okay. So then he's all, yeah, we'll transfer you over here. He didn't have to know my history or anything like that. He just knew that I was super interested in what he was doing. And then he made me this green cocktail. It was like super thick, super gross looking. And I was like, ugh. And everything green up to that point was like, it's got to be just straight spinach or something nasty. I was like, this is going to be gross. And then he dipped it into this like Parmesan cheese, orange, zested chili salt. And I'm like,
You're not making it sound better.
what the heck? Right? But then once I drank it, I was like, this is the best drink of all time.
Well, what drink was it?
He called it the spicy secret, or the spicy secreto. And it's just a simple margarita, but it was, or pretty much.
I was imagining a terrible grasshopper.
No, it was like fresh lime. I want to say, I forget what the syrup was. I want to say it was like a tamarind syrup or something like that. And then muddled jalapenos, cachaça, actually. It wasn't a margarita. It had cachaça in it, which is like it's pretty much rum, but it's made from molasses instead of,
Brazil?
Yeah, it's a Brazilian thing. Or it's made from pure sugar cane instead of like molasses, like most rums are made from. And then elderflower liqueur, because I think that was super popular at that point.
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain was the brand. And then, he like made this chili salt his grandma used to make, and then I don't know where the Parmesan cheese came from. But I was like,
It's just fucking with
when
you.
it came together, I was like, that was the most badass thing. I was like, I got to work for you, man. I got to work for you. They'll teach me everything. So for about 3 years after that, he pretty much taught me everything I knew. And then like, he's a super funny guy, but he was kind of like strict behind the bar. Like, there was, like, he told me, he goes, I'll tell you what, he's like, you're never going to become a bartender back here. He's like, there's no way. He's like, your skills are not there. He's like, I don't even want you touching this side of the bar. And this was the front, like where everyone's being served. He's like, I only want you dealing with this and what's on the rail. I was like, okay. I was like, and I was okay because I wanted to learn all this stuff. I saw what he was capable of. I was like, okay. So for about a year, he goes, he actually, going back to the prostitutes, he's like, you like a lot of women, man. You got a lot of girlfriends.
I
He's
like where this is going.
He's all, you see all these little cabinets right here? He's like, pick a cabinet and name her. I was like, what do you mean? He's all, well, we're going to call this one Sally, this one Joanne, this one, and like, he was like, now name your hoes and take care of your hoes. And all these, he's all, if any of your hoes need anything, you make sure that hoe gets what she needs. I'm like, oh my God. So I learned to like always keep up with how to do this job by, treating my hoes good. That's what it was. So I was like, all right. But then there was one time when he goes, all right, let's learn how to taste. And he goes, pick a side of the bar. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, just pick a side. I was like, okay, I'll pick this side. And this is where we stocked all the vodkas and stuff like that. So he's like, here's a notepad. Here's a pen. He's like, I want you to write down what you think you taste and what you think you can smell when you drink these. He's on, and I don't care if you take shots during the shift. He's like, you get three per shift. I was like, okay. And at first I was drinking them and I was like, this is not going to end well. So I was like, so eventually I was like tasting these and I was like, okay, I think I taste this. And I think I taste that. And I went through like the full spectrum all the way up to scotches, cordials, whatever. And then during that time,
Well, you should have spread them out instead of pounding 3 shots at the beginning of your shift.
I know, I just did them all right back to back. Now, pretty much not just throughout the shift, and I would take notes just whenever I could. And then he would take me to like the grocery store, and he was like super weird. Like he would bite, like, have you ever seen an ugly fruit before? No. It looks like a grapefruit that has rotted, but it's actually, it tastes like, like mandarin and orange. But he just goes, and he bites through the skin and everything. I was like, what a weirdo. I was like, what is this guy doing? He goes, smell that. I was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting to go be bad or something. Like, that smells amazing. He's like, so what does that smell like? And it actually smelled like the specific citrus that's in some of these gins.
Smelled like hair throw up.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's all, keep that one in mind. And so when I went back after about a year, I was like tasting different because I had to go back to the vodkas. And I was like, oh, this one has like a smoother, silkier texture. And I think like vodkas was obviously the hardest thing, but I was like, I think this one will be grape. And that ended up, like this is Ciroc. And this one's, made from wheat, and this one's, made from some other thing like rye. You're going to get that little spice in there. And you're like, okay. And I was like, he's all, now I think you're ready. And that's when I actually started bartending. He's like, you're ready. He actually let the other bartender go. He's like, hey, guess what? Half your tips are going to him. He's going home, and you're up. And he put me on a Friday night. I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, I'll be your bar back tonight. So he sat back there, and he didn't do a damn thing. I had to bar back and bartend, and I was like, holy shit. So that was my initiation into it. And I was like, this is badass, And then started doing like bartending competitions with him, and he showed me actually how to win these bartending competitions, or at least how to compete in them. And then I ended up learning from other mentors how to actually win these things. Like there's a really cool guy out here, Andrew. Andrew Pollard. We went over to the Arizona Cocktail Week, and I was chosen as one of the top 5 mixologists to go compete. And working with him for about a month, maybe 2 months before that, he showed me pretty much all the ropes of how to win these things.
I can tell you, my cocktails are not popular at competitions.
No? How many have you been in?
Probably a handful, here and there.
Have you ever won?
No. They
got close?
They hate my cocktails. I'm always making something that I want to drink.
Yeah.
I have no instinct for what the judges are looking for. I have no idea.
Well,
what the judges
I think
want.
the thought process behind these cocktail competitions is make them something that they can replicate in most bars. Make it something that they can sell again. But hard enough that it seems insane. Like it seems super cool and crafty and makes you want to look into their product. I think that's
but sometimes it's gimmicky though. Like if you do some kind of ice cream foam or something, well, it depends on the
wow factor is definitely a big point. Like you can get points for wow factor for sure, but if it's a wow factor and the drink's way off balance, it's like you're not going to win that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's the coolest thing ever.
Going back to your that opportunity where you talked to that manager, was it in it sounded like in a hallway or something where you asked what he's
like
pushing
in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, in the lobby. Do you think about that as like a big step in your life or just a big change where it was just from you asking some random person? Like, do you ever think about that and reflect on that?
Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I was pretty, I don't know about I was never shy. I was always joking around and stuff like that. But when it came to like an actual job, I was kind of like, maybe I need to be more professional. And so I wouldn't ask questions and I wouldn't step over my boundaries and stuff like that. So when I asked him, this was like me being super young, just going, let me actually take a step and see what I want to do instead of just applying. Like, let me like actually seek out something. So yeah, I mean, it felt super great to do that. And I would suggest if anyone wants to learn this kind of craft or anything in their life, go and get it. You know, I mean, seek it out, learn, seek out mentorship.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Go get the job. You know what I mean?
You know what's interesting though?
I'm telling my brother this kind of stuff now. He's searching in Vegas. I'm like, dude, if you want anything, this is a good place to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity out here. But go and get it.
If you had been like 30 seconds later coming down that hallway, you wouldn't have ran into that guy. And your life would have been a whole
could have been way different
path, right? Mm-hmm. That's an interesting moment that changed.
Could have been, but I was pretty motivated at that time to stop.
Well, even something you might have ended up at a different bar or something, right? You might have been, your path might have been different.
Yeah. Actually, if I didn't get that job at that hotel, I would have never met Danny, and he would have never taught me any of that. I might have heard that was a bar in town, but I would have never learned from him. So,
and then even
super grateful for
that
it.
next phase where, so you said you bar backed for 3 years, was it?
Just about.
Before you asked them to become a bartender, where they pointed you to Danny. So you still had the drive.
Well, actually, I think that was about a year and a half up to that point until I met Danny. Yeah.
So you still had the drive a year and a half later to ask them that you want to be promoted from bar back to bartender. So you carried that motivation and the drive to ask. Some people, like you're saying, are afraid to ask. That early in my career as a software engineer, I think it was a little bit of the place that I worked where all the employees, all my peers were openly asking the manager, like, hey, when can I get a promotion? Hey, when can I get a promotion?
Right.
And I think that's a little bit in a typical corporate setting is uncommon, I think, because people are more careful and reserved, or
people are generally much more afraid to lose their job than anything else. And there's this fear and comfort and stay in like, I finally got a good spot, I'm going to try to stay in it.
Yeah.
That seems to be more the human psychology of jobs.
And I'm pretty outgoing, so that further helped my career, because any job I went to, I mean, within the first 6 months or a year, anywhere I worked, I was talking to the manager like, hey, can I get a promotion? Hey, can I get a promotion?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel like you're ready or you want to do it, I mean, try it, you know what I mean?
I think that's a key thing. With my personality, I'm always trying to learn something and do better, trying to look at my peers and are they much better than me? If they are, then I need to freaking catch up, or I need to make sure I'm above them if I can.
Yeah.
And then I could ask for that promotion without any shame.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing things above my pay grade already.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of it too. I felt like I was actually bartending while I was barbacking. I was like, I just need to become a bartender already. Like, I'm kicking ass with this, obviously. Like, I just need to advance myself. So if you ever feel you're ready, do it. You know what I mean? Or even if you're kind of ready, at least make the attempt, because you might
don't sit on the bench. Go injure the starting quarterback.
There you go. Yeah. Take him out.
Wait, so this explains why Isaac we had a party a couple weeks ago, and Isaac shows up with a gang of mint. He's got two fistfuls of mint.
They said show up to a party looking fresh. I was like, okay, I didn't know what that meant, so I showed up with mint. Just kidding.
And no puke in his hair.
Yeah, and no puke. But yeah, man.
What do you think it was the best part of what segment of your career was the best part? And it could be anything. I think back when I was before I even became a software engineer, I think the cheapest or my lowest paying job as in IT was actually probably the most fun that I had. They sent me traveling from location to location installing PCs. It was super easy work, but it was just so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just learning all this stuff. That was the most fun. And then, like I said, the bartending competitions, that's when I got to see what I was made of, or see what I've learned and see if I can do something with it. That was probably the most fun. It's been a little while since I competed, maybe a year and a half, and I'll do them every once in a while now.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, or actually even more now that I think about it. But yeah, so I think that was the super fun time. I was probably averaging at like 2 competitions a year, 3 competitions a year, and that was super fun. It was just like, let me see if I can get some of these, you know what I mean? And I didn't even know where they would take me. I just knew like I wanted to try it, you know?
Yeah.
It was the interest of just seeing it, you know?
Well, yeah.
seem
So
like
as
you
a
do.
bartender, that's one thing you can do to push yourself or to try to get better or try to learn or to give a shit or use your brain. You know, you could be a total zombie bartender. You could show
because
up.
you can make drinks the same way every day, and it's just a thing.
Yeah.
It just becomes a process. But when you sit there and go, "What the hell is gin?" and let me break this down and see if I can make something with it. And you find something maybe in your refrigerator. You go to the store and be like, "Oh, I think those kind of match. Let me see if I can make a drink." And you do it, and you go, "Why aren't bars doing this?" Well, obviously it's a cost thing, but then you go, "I'm gonna take this and see what these judges think." You know, this is see what they think, and you come with some cool shit, and then.
Well, there's another side too, where there's a certain person that walks up to the bar that's looking for a super interesting, herbally. You know, they want
These are where
an
you can showcase too.
Yeah, they want an experience in their cocktail. There's also the guy that just wants another Bud Light. And, you know, there's the gang of people that just want a round of Patrons, right? So it's easy as a bartender to start judging people and thinking what people should be doing for a good time. But in Vegas, I've got, you know, I got to the point where, you know what? Whatever they came here to have fun with, you know, if you want a fireball, that'll be $15. Let's go. Like, Ringo, I want you to have fun too.
Yeah.
So how can I help you to have fun?
That's actually how I make drinks for competitions. I think if they were sitting at my bar, would this be fun for them to look at? You know what I mean? Is this cool to look at? Like, I made a cocktail one time out of an apple. Like the whole thing, the idea was 100% edible cocktail, nothing gone to waste. So I got a big opal apple. It's these big like sweet yellow apples, and I cut off the top, and it's almost like a mug like this at the end. And you pour it out.
The apple was the cup?
The apple was the cup, but the top would actually sit on there, and you would actually drink through a cinnamon stick, so you get the flavor, the smell, and on the inside it was pretty much just like a gin fizz type of thing. And I was like, how cool would that be if someone gave you an apple and you go, what the hell? I'm drinking out of an apple? Like, this is super sweet. So that's the wow factor, but then make like a nice variation of a classic cocktail for them to, so they can recognize what's going on in there. Don't go too crazy with it, you know? Yeah.
Do you remember any point in your career where you felt in over your head?
I mean, yeah, pretty much every day. It's just there's always,
walk in lost.
Yeah, there's always something. I'm like, oh God. But no, I mean, I'm pretty motivated. You know what I mean? It's just another challenge for me. It's just another driver. You know, like if I don't know something, I'm gonna try to figure it out, or I'll find someone that can actually help me understand what's going on, or you know, if maybe I'm feeling down, like say it's been stagnant for a while and I'm not really doing anything and I've just been making the same old thing. I'm like, well, let me change things up and let me I don't know, create something and do something for myself. You know what I mean? And I'll have my own little bartending competition at my house for myself, or I'm actually I can paint and I can draw and I can, you know, do things, and like I'll do some airbrushing at the house just to kind of calm my mind, and then I'll get back and I'm like, okay, let's do it again. You know?
Yeah. So any job that you do every day, 40 hours a week can get monotonous, right? Mm-hmm. So we see a lot of people at the casino bars that, you know, they've been doing it 10, 20 years and they're burnt out, but they feel like, what else? They can't go get some other job, right? So then they show up and complain every day. Mm-hmm. It's like, motherfucker, this ain't a hard job. Like,
it's a great job. And actually, the coronavirus has helped us now. Like, I don't know if you've been back.
Yeah.
People are like, they're showing up to work and they're actually happy to be at work. I'm like, damn, I almost feel like everyone needed that refresher. You know what I mean? And maybe they'll take note of it. Like, I haven't felt this good bartending in a long time. Let me take these breaks. You know what I mean? I'm saying, you know, like my thing every day, even before coronavirus, I would stretch in the morning. Like, I'm actually pretty damn flexible. So I was like, I would stretch in the morning, and it helps just like my mental stability throughout the day, you know?
Like you're touching your toes, or what do you?
Yeah, I'll suck on my toes and no. I actually lay in bed and I crank one leg up like every night so I can actually keep that stretch. You know what I mean? Like, it looks crazy. My wife's like, "Oh God, he's dead." I look like just like jacked up, but
like a chalk outline.
Yeah, like a chalk outline with my leg broken. But she's like, "That's just how I try to keep some stress levels down." You know.
What stinks about pouring drinks?
What stinks about pouring drinks is that there's just people that don't know what the hell they're doing when they walk up to the bar. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't know what they're ordering. Like they come up, can I have a Manhattan? And you're like, sure. Can I see your ID? Like, you're super young, and you go, okay. And then you make the Manhattan. The girl's like, oh, this is disgusting. It's so strong. I'm like, yeah, it's all booze. Like, the whole thing is 100% alcohol. Like, that's what you ordered. And then you end up having to like either have them pay for it, or you talk to the manager like they didn't know what they're ordering. I'm gonna try to comp this out and give them something.
I would
else
mix that into some Sprite for them.
Yeah, here's some Red Bull with that. No, but stuff like that, or like, there'll be people that they just want free drinks because it's their birthday, and I'm not pulling that.
Yeah.
You ever had the girls that are just like, hey, it's my birthday? It's like, yeah.
No, I mean, sometimes I do say it, but I have to stop myself often from saying, well, that works at Applebee's, but we're in Vegas now.
Yeah.
Nothing against Applebee's. It's a great restaurant. But hey, that's Chili's. I mean, we don't.
You get a free chips and dip on your birthday and a shot.
We know you're not coming back. Next month. So
that's another thing about Vegas. It's so transient, and like there's just so many people coming in. Like, it's hard to. It's like I'm never gonna see you again. Like, there's no way. Like, maybe if you worked like the local bar and you're like, hey, look, you always come in here. I'm gonna get you a free shot or something, or I'll pay for it myself. And because you want that returning customer. Over here, you're like, you're never gonna see them again.
So that's one thing about working in the casinos, is that it's not necessarily strict control on the bartender, but there's a lot of oversight where there's a whole security system. There's a staff that watches these cameras, and if it's the week where they decided to watch this bar and they
watch you,
they catch you doing something, or you never know, a manager, some crazy manager hates you and says, hey, watch this guy, right? There's no knowing. So there's an extra set of rules on a casino bartender from that surveillance environment. There's gaming licenses, liquor licenses. You got to follow all those rules.
Just don't give free shit away either, and don't steal.
Don't steal stuff.
You'll make definitely enough money to.
And
not making friends with
but then
the
there's
little
additionally
party
a whole
girls.
corporate structure as well. This is a corporation that wants to make money too, right? So this week they want you to sign everybody up on this guest rewards program, and it's like, I don't give a shit about that. I'm making drinks here. These people, if they wanted to be in the Players Club, they would be.
They would be.
So like, I'm going to talk them into it, right?
That's all I do is talk and get rewards cards for these people. I'm the best at it.
This guy ordered his third, alcoholic seltzer. Let's get him in the rewards program. So there's a certain annoyance of those kind of rules that come down. And it's like, oh, this week I'm focused on the Forbes rules for being nice to people. And then next week, nobody gives a shit. So it's a weird rotating.
That's the hardest thing with Vegas. You got to really be pretty like straight arrow, with that kind of stuff. You don't want to be giving away a lot of free stuff. There's no benefit to it, and especially if you got a job as good as we have out here, that's not the spot to do it. If you want to fail at an Applebee's or something, there's other ones you can go to. It strips only so long, I
had a dude one time. This was a late night shift, and I was buried at a bar where I'd never worked before. And this dude was like, "Oh yeah, I manage restaurants. I could help you out." I'm like, "Well, no, I just never worked this bar before. Like, what do you want? I want to help you." And this whole time he's trying to instruct me and mentor me. I'm like, "Bro, I'll get you your drink. Just relax. Like, look, I got a whole bunch of shit going on. Like, figure it out. Like, relax."
Oh yeah.
And he's going on and on. Like, I used to manage. I'm like, where did you used to manage? Waffle House.
That's the worst, when you announce that you're in the industry and then you do some dickhead stuff, Or
but this guy lost it when I called him a Waffle House manager.
Fuck you, 0 tip.
Yeah, but then he never said where he worked, so it wasn't like a freaking.
You probably nailed him on the head.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
That's funny. So that's some of the stuff that suck. Or like, people act like they can say anything at the bar, and it's like, us as bartenders, we can hear everything you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like we can hear you talking shit about something, or like maybe starting like we can pretty much gauge if you're going to try to like con us with something, or,
Yeah. Well, I think the trick is like, we want you to have fun.
Yeah,
like, it's a bar.
definitely.
Have fun. Like, have a good time.
We're actually getting paid to hang out.
Yeah. Don't be an a-hole.
Chill out with you guys.
Yeah. Don't make it difficult for anybody. Like,
yeah, man.
This chick doesn't want to talk to you. Like, leave her alone. Like,
yeah,
you tried. You took a couple.
That's another thing. I don't like to play wingman.
Yeah.
They get you to try to. I don't mind sending the drink over. That's cool. I'll do that. But I'm not gonna find out her name, where she lives, where you going. And I'm like, dude, fuck, I got a shift I got to deal with here.
Your translator.
Like, here, why don't you guys get the little 2 seats right there, and we'll have a little date real quick. Get a candle for you.
You got 4 minutes to impress her.
Yeah, speed dating.
If someone's looking to get a job in Vegas as a bartender, what suggestions do you have for them?
Like I said, be motivated and, go get the job. And even if you don't initially get the job, don't get discouraged. There's a lot of properties, a lot of ways to get in. Maybe you have to go work the local scene. Like there's some gaming bars and like just normal mom and pop places you can go work. And as long as you have somewhat of a good standing with them and try to get to like know people. Like there's a organization called the USBG, United States Bartenders Guild, and there's a chapter out here. That's a really good way to get yourself known. I say join your local chapter. When you come out to Vegas, join the USBG.
Then you're hanging out with a bunch of other
you're hanging out
bartenders and managers, and
if they think you got personality, or maybe you show you're interested, they'll be like, well, why don't you come and check out this? And you kind of open yourself up to seeing maybe that you can work at this place because you know this person. Because Vegas is like that. It's like who you know.
Or even like, oh, I seen this dude show up on time for 3 events and he's not a psychopath.
There we go.
That's better than rolling the dice on all these stack of applications I got.
Yeah. So I know this guy's he's got good credibility. He's been here.
I haven't seen him stab anybody.
Too stupid when he's drunk. Yeah. He's good.
What was your experience moving? Did you move to Vegas because you had a job, or did you come here and then find a job?
My experience was crazy at that time. Like I was working at this casino on the reservation in New Mexico, and it was actually a pretty cool little place. It was like a nightclubby type deal, but I was like, and I guess the designer was from Las Vegas, so they designed the thing, and I was like, wow, if this is what places are like that, I'm gonna go out and try that. So
was it the hottest club in town at the time?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. They did nice comedy shows during the week, but then on the weekends it was like jam packed, slammed. It was super, super cool.
All hip hop all the time.
All hip hop all the time. And then I might not even drink anymore because I'll start peeing right here.
That's all good.
You can go pee. Me and Liem will talk, and then we'll do a funny voice to pretend what you're saying.
No, yeah. No, so like
it was a hot nightclub, man. It was badass.
Is that my voice?
No, just
like a little South Park character.
Make it easy for the audience to figure out the fake Isaac.
Like I took a chance of coming out to Vegas and applying for all these jobs, and I didn't know that there was a union out here. Like and I applied to all these union properties, and they don't tell you. They'll let you come out for the interview.
Yeah, the WIN is a dick that way. Like, just put it in the posting that you need a union port card.
Yeah. So they'll let you come out and interview.
10 years ago.
Make a fool of yourself, and then they won't give you the job because you don't have a union port card. So I did that like 7 or 8 times before that.
Jeez.
And I was spending money. I was spending money on plane tickets, just driving, a lot of time trying to get out here. It was just this huge push. Like I said, I wanted to get here. So I was like, let's do that. And then there's a local casino called Red Rock here. And after like 5 or 6 times me obviously not getting the job, I was like, well, what's this union port card? And I finally looked into casinos that didn't have it. And that was one that didn't. It's one of the local ones that they stay non-union because they're just, they just want to do that.
They're a local chain, yeah.
And they're a local chain. And I was like, well, let me see if I can apply there. And I went, and I finally got my second interview where they actually like, they try to see what kind of skills you have. Like you go and make drinks, and you set down like your little prep for how you're going to interview. And they hired me, and I was like, this is super cool. But apparently I did a really good job because I was one of the only bartenders that went out, put the napkin with the logo facing towards them because they had pretty much the bar set up. So I did it super professional. I would shake my drinks, smile, do like this little like thing, and I came,
shake your booty.
Yeah, dressed clean. I had conversations while I was making the drinks. So
he had mint in his pocket.
Yeah, I had a little mint leaf right here. No. But like I was like, well, let me just wow them, and I did that. And the assistant GM goes, hey, come on this side of the table. He's like, where are you staying tonight? I was like, oh, I'm staying at like, I forgot where the hell I was supposed to stay.
Yeah.
I think the Flamingo is where I was going to stay. And he goes, forget that place. He's like, why don't you stay here? He was like, what do you mean? He's like, are you with anybody? I was like, yeah, I'm with my girlfriend. And he's like, okay. He's like, why don't you guys stay here? So they actually comped me out a huge suite for the night.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I got this job. Fuck yeah, this is badass. So they gave me this beautiful mountain view, and where half of the strip I can see and half the mountain. This is so freaking sweet. So they actually caught me out that for the night, and I pretty much knew I had the job. Like, they're not going to do that for just anybody. So then, I started about 2 weeks later because I told them I was available anytime. So I had to quit my job, move out of my house. My dad was going through a divorce, so I was like, I knew I had a renter. So I was like, Dad, guess what? You got a free house, like, come, or you got a place to stay. So I left pretty much everything. I bought like a little fold-out mattress, and I got an apartment. I slept on a mattress for like a month. It was no TV, nothing, while I kind of set my life up here, you know.
See, most people can't make that jump, though. That's a hard jump. Like, you might find yourself in a situation where you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But a lot of times
I
people
didn't have
won't,
kids or nothing like that. So.
Yeah, but a lot of people won't voluntarily make that kind of jump.
Yeah.
So that's a hard, hard adventure.
I mean, it all depends on what you can do in your life. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is like a science or a method for
not good
how
for
to
everybody.
do it. Yeah, obviously, life is like that. You know, you have to do what you have to do. But if you find an opportunity, don't be scared to take that opportunity. You know. What does Eminem say in that song?
8 miles to the. No, this round the outside of the trailer park, girls.
So I forgot what he said.
All right,
pretty much.
When you're saying that people have a hard time making that leap from going from a different city to another city, probably some of the things. I mean, it's the obvious things I'm just going to mention, but I'm going to ask you your personal thoughts. So the obvious things are probably they're thinking their family, their friends, where they're used to. They know the restaurants, they know the area, they know everything that they need. What was going through your mind when you made that jump? Did you even consider any of that, or?
He's just watching the Cocktail movie every night.
Tom Cruise. I don't know, man. Like, I was just motivated, man. I just trying to get things for my life. You know what I mean?
But you're charming in person. Like, nobody would ever offer me a sweet. Like, I'm pretty dry.
Are you in interviews?
You know, I don't think I have a natural. You have a natural outgoing. Just you know, there's a charm to you.
That's because growing up in a small town, if you don't stand out, you'll just be like another dude. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I just kind of developed that over the years. Yeah.
I think if I try to step out of being another dude, I just turn into like weird perv.
What? No, you're pretty cool, dude. You're actually one of the ones I really liked at work. We worked together, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's cool. Like, he's knowledgeable. Like, you have this really vast vocabulary. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah, like when you talk to people, I'm like, oh, this guy's, you know.
6 years of college, baby.
There we go. 6 years of college. But I'm like, this he's good. So don't put yourself down. I think people would see you like that.
Well, there's one thing to be like smart or book smart or something, but I think you relate to people. You connect with people really quickly.
I try.
Yeah.
It's a motivator, and I think that's why I knew I was going to be good at this job. Just because I make that a mission when I come in. Like, I mean, I've been at a party where, you know, like, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm kind of like, I don't know anybody. I'm like, whatever. I'm going to actually go out and, you know, be personal with these people. And I tend to get good, positive feedback on that. So I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just whatever. You know what I mean? And now over the years, I just feel comfortable walking into a room with 2 mint sprigs, you know, with people like
bushes of mint.
I didn't know anybody at this party. I was like, hey, motherfuckers, here we go. They're like, who's this guy? It's just funny to walk in like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, make a fool of yourself. It's fun.
You got nothing to lose.
That's a bit of I think living a more fun life. I think you got to make a fool of yourself, or even when you try, whether it be bartending. My software engineering thing, creating websites, creating apps, creating things that I know they don't look great. Because
I would love to do this, by the way. I'm just not smart enough to do all this.
Software
sounds awesome.
It just, I don't know. It takes a lot of time to learn some of it, but at some point you just got to try to do it. Like some of the I'm a back end programmer. I'm not good at like graphics or anything. So I'll have what I think is a great idea for a website. I build it, and most people look at it, they're like, oh, that looks like shit. But then I'm like, no, but the potential, you could you could send a secure message that's totally encrypted, and even the FBI can't even hack this. Like, this is cool. And they're like, but it looks like shit.
Right?
I'm like, damn it.
No, nobody appreciates the backdoor programmer.
Backdoor.
Back end.
Oh, back end. Okay.
Back door.
But check out the back door.
But you have to kind of make a fool out of yourself, I think, because like when I show my programmer friends that, they're like, oh, they see the potential, but they know that it's ugly as fuck. But they understand the potential behind it. So I think you got to make a fool out of yourself. I think it's life in general. Being at a party, not knowing somebody, talking to people.
Or is the lesson that image is more important than anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll find.
Wait, what?
Just gotta look good.
Like I just found out, like in life, going outside your comfort level, you tend to, once you become comfortable with being uncomfortable, it's a really cool thing. Like I roomed with this Filipino guy, and he loved karaoke. That was not my thing. I just never sang in front of people. And there was one night.
I thought the story was going to get really weird. I'm glad.
No. Yeah. I went to this party, and there's just all these Filipino people with really, really awesome food. By the way, I know you guys know about Filipino food. It's amazing.
It's a different kind of Asian.
But they were singing karaoke, and I was like, let me try this shit. Dude, I ended up holding the mic so long that this lady's like, okay, enough. You're done. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry about that. It was, so like, I mean, you got to just put yourself out there, you know?
Was it a golden microphone?
It was hot pink.
Oh.
It was actually pretty cool looking. I don't know.
And when going all the way back to the New Mexico thing, I was thinking about it to ask, but so in a small town, what do you think of it now, like being in Vegas, thinking back on New Mexico, the differences, the goods, the bads?
It's weird.
Just weird, just straight up?
Yeah. Like, I know, I almost feel like I've lived two lives, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That was a whole chapter in my life, or a few chapters in my life where I'm like, damn, that seems so long ago, you know? Like, I'll call people, or I'll see people, like, or now with like Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, I'll see their lives happening. And I'm like, God. I'm like, I don't know, just seeing that is just so weird to me. You know what I mean?
As in, you're talking about friends that stayed in.
Yeah, friends that stayed, or family, or just seeing the town. Like, cause where I'm from, the town doesn't grow. You know, people grow up, but the town, it's always looked the same. It's always stayed the same. Like they might get a new storefront name, but the building stays the same. So like you look at that, you're like, God, that it's so crazy to look back on that and know that I'm in Vegas where everything's changing so rapidly, and you know, just doing. Like I'm actually living life, and I don't know, becoming an adult's kind of a weird thing.
We have an IKEA here. It's pretty.
Yeah, that's mega advanced.
You can get Swedish meatballs, and
yeah, they didn't even have a Home Depot for such a long time in New Mexico. You had to go to like a little place, hardware store that they would have. It's super weird.
Is there a hot dog stand in front of the Home Depot?
No, there's a Navajo fry bread stand.
Fry bread. Yeah. People love the fry bread.
Fry bread, and you ever had that?
No.
It's basically, you ever had sopapilla?
Yes.
It's pretty much a tortilla deep fried, and then it becomes thicker. Mm-hmm. Imagine this, just like super huge. You know what I mean? It's almost like a big flat thing, and they sometimes flavor with like cinnamon and powdered sugar, make it like a churro kind of thing, or sometimes they just throw beans, a bunch of like taco seasoning, and bunches of crazy stuff. It's just a huge thing. So yeah, they got stuff like that out there. But
do you have any Navajo heritage, or is that just happens to be?
It just happens to be where I'm from.
Big in that area.
Yeah, my family is actually Spanish and Portuguese. Come to find out with that 23andMe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm Spanish and Portuguese, and a couple random things. I'm like 2% black. I don't know where that came from. I was like, right on.
That's where you get your swag from.
There we go. Yeah, all these. Yeah, it's great hair. No. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know.
You mentioned some of the racism that you experienced because
it's different. Yeah, go ahead.
I might have I think prior to the talk I was trying to tell Emmett some of the emails that we had just to kind of get him up to speed before this talk.
It was all dick pics.
He's being quiet because it really did happen.
I was kidding.
When I read the email, I think I reiterated to Emmett incorrectly. I think I said that you are part Native American. So the racism is because you were living in a heavily Native American area, but you aren't Native American.
Yeah. So what I was trying to like tell you was like it was a different type of racism that I saw. So let me actually make it more recent. It's like you got coronavirus going on right now, and in Gallup, where I'm from, it's surrounded by Hopi people, Navajos, Zuni, and they're all like this huge, like I think there's like 177,000 Native Americans surrounding a little place of 22,000 people. You know what I mean? It's actually one of the only places in the world that can jump population like 5 times on a like certain days. Like on the first of the month, a lot of the Native Americans get their government checks, so they'll all come to town. Like it's pretty much like a 3-hour drive on average just to get to Gallup.
They're going to storm the Home Depot.
Oh, they stormed that. The Walmart. It's actually the most profitable Walmart in the world because, yeah, and it just happens within like a day, like, and so like it's super crazy. But because of that, all them storming it, you'll see people say, "Oh, these effing Native Americans and they're terrorizing our town," and it's like, well, wait a second, they're bringing you all the money.
Yeah.
But that's where the racism will come in, and they'll treat these people like shit because, I mean, they're all on this reservation. This is the only place where they can get resources. Like most of these places on the reservation don't even have like working water. Like they gotta get their water by coming and getting these big things filled up and taking it back home. So pretty much gas stations you can't go to on certain days. Can't go grocery shopping. You can't go out to eat. So people just have this weird racism towards it, you know? And then on the reservations, they're like dry counties, like there's no alcohol. So they're pretty much per capita, my little hometown has more bars and liquor establishments than anywhere else in the Southwest, you know? So they'll come in, drink up all the booze and get stupid and completely terrorize the town in their eyes and be like, and they're like, these people, all they do is drink. And it was actually known as Drunk Town USA, but it's because of that. They'll just come in and everyone seems drunk all the time, but it's because they just come in all at once and it just seems wild. You know what I mean? So that's where
is it like a
starts.
weird island in the middle of the desert kind of thing where
pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Like it's just like if you've seen an oasis, like, is that a town over there? Yeah, that is a town. But out past this just long stretch of desert that is just surrounded by Native American land, sovereign
It'd be so
land.
easy to flip it to think, well, you know, if I was in their shoes, yeah, I would run in and go get some shit at Walmart too, right?
Oh yeah. I actually have a lot of cool Native American friends. I think they're the funniest people on the planet. They love to laugh. They love to joke with each other and make fun of each other and laugh. It's like
nice.
The best people in the world, you know what I mean? But no one knows about them, and they have like their own dialect and like their own language. So, and that's another thing, being in that area and everyone's speaking English or Spanish because it's New Mexico. When they come in with speaking Dene, or I think that's what the Navajos call it.
Yeah.
They come in speaking their language. People think that they're being talked about, or So
Yeah.
there's just some like restraint to like get to know these people. You know what I mean? But it's like, wait, they're there all the time, and then like there's like a huge homeless population because, I mean, you almost have like a third world poverty-stricken place amongst one of the richest countries in the world. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of poor people panhandling and stuff like that. It's like they're not all beggars and they're not all drunks. Like I don't understand. I mean, I understand like where you can see like that it's inconvenient, but like I never found myself to like hating somebody because of that. But I see that the town's like racist like that. You know what I mean? They think it's bad because of the natives. I'm like, no. They actually built this town. You know what I mean? It was an old mining town, and they worked the mines, and they did all this stuff, and like this is their country. And I'm actually glad that I'm seeing them take it back. You know, with the Native American casinos, a lot of Native American businesses, jewelry stores. They're doing a lot of different cool restaurants and stuff like that. Like natives are actually taking it back, which is awesome. You know what I mean? That's their land. You know, It's pretty cool.
I would see it as if you're in the desert, it's real hard. What are your opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So
everything comes in on the interstate by delivery. So whatever you can get there, that's going to be your business. You know what I mean? There's not much more opportunity past that.
Do you think they see it as a clash between modern and traditional?
Very much so.
Like, do they try to live a traditional life?
Yeah, like
or is it
like? I know people think that Native Americans are with their feathers and their like, traditional like dresses and stuff like that, but that's not how they are. They're just like us, but then there's like these ceremonial things that they do where they actually get in their full garments and stuff like that, and they try to teach their kids the old ways of doing things, like a more spiritual side. Like they have like all these different crazy things that they believe in. You know what I mean? That's actually why I wrote you about the ghost stories and stuff.
Is it crazy?
Some of those I think are real. You know, like
is it crazier than Mormonism? Crazier than Christianity?
Nothing's crazier than Christianity. Jesus is crazy, man. No. Yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't dive too much into it because half the time they don't want to tell you. You know, it's very not secret, but you're not in. You know what I mean?
Then now you got to share the smoke.
Yeah. That's why there's those peyote parties and I never was invited. Fuck. You know, I wanted in, but no.
Yeah, it's weird though because I think the moment that you want running water, or the moment that you are living in a trailer, or you want to drive into Walmart and buy some stuff, or if you're wearing a pair of jeans, in effect, you're becoming more modern, right? So that's a weird clash to me. I could see wanting to keep some traditions and some heritage, but that would be a real struggle for me. Is like, well, where do I draw the line at just becoming modern? Like, do I have a cell phone with access to the internet? Because that's clearly not. That's as modern as it gets, right? Everybody in the world.
But even out there, some of them that don't have cell phones because there's no service.
No signal, yeah.
Nothing.
So what would be a better life? I mean, that's asking a lot, I guess, to prescribe a better life for Native Americans in the middle of the desert. Are they perfectly happy? Is there a better path? Is there something they're looking for?
I think some are perfectly happy because they know how to work that system. But I think some are pretty much stuck doing what their parents have done and their parents have done and their parents have done because of the way the government, the United States, has pushed them to these lands, and like they just, I mean, that sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck. So unless you venture out and completely leave what you've had, which is really hard to do, then
most people can't make that jump.
You're gonna kind of be stuck there. I don't know. That's a scary thing for these people, you know.
And that jumps almost would, like, for me and you jumping from San Diego to Vegas, you from New Mexico to Vegas. Those jumps is because we're not.
It's not as far of a jump.
Yeah, the Indian reservation where you're saying that it's almost a third world country to some degree. That's jumping.
Oh, it is, man.
Yeah,
wild.
That's a bigger jump, so that must be a lot tougher.
Yeah, I mean they don't even have the finances to even like get an apartment in a place, or even, you know what I mean? Or they're so culturally different that when they go out to, like, say they were to come out or move out to New York or something, they'd be like, there's got to be a culture shock. You know what I mean?
In your time there, did you see that Indians can transition? Is there something?
Native Americans, thank you very much.
Yes,
Native Americans. Can they transition from their land? Move? Is there some type of path for them? Government funded path, government help, or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these Native Americans that live on the reservation, they get a government grant. Like, they get so much money per kid, or so much money just to support the household, or so much money just to go and get resources. But past that, I mean, you gotta find jobs, and you gotta think, like I said, 22,000 people in a small town. I guarantee those jobs are all eaten up. Where are the 177,000 people surrounding going to get a job unless they have something? But it's not like we can go to the reservation. That's a whole different thing. So unless they have their own established little cities out there that are thriving, how are they going to make money to get out? You know?
I bet if they could all figure out how to be software developers.
Hey, well, you know what? I don't know, man. But that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, but not in a silly way. But like, it takes minimal resources. You need just a computer of some kind, right? And learning a computer language, whatever's the most in-demand language. So if you could train 20,000 people that are motivated to learn software.
So maybe that's it. You know what I mean? Maybe the technology advancing us will get them to where they can actually do other things. You know what I mean?
And actually, hardware spec for software engineering is actually pretty low. Like you don't need, you could use a really old computer and just, because it's just lines of code. It's the compiling of it
Lines
that
of
could.
Coke.
What?
I just get
Lines of Coke?
Yeah, lines.
I just messed up.
You can program faster if you do the Coke in the right line.
Yeah.
I've actually seen people studying in school like that.
So
It's Adderall.
Oh yeah,
it's just the compiling that could
was just
change
me.
from, if you have a really big code base, it could be 2 or 5 minutes. And then, I mean, I don't think if you're doing something that big, you won't have a super slow computer. But even then, even if it took 5 minutes to compile something on a fast computer, say it takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yeah,
'Cause
just go
you're
look
not you're not compiling all the time. So anyways.
Yeah. So learning wise, you don't need a cutting edge computer. You can have a pretty old ass computer.
Yeah.
And learn code. I think that would be one potential, because if you had a workforce of 100,000 people that got real smart on code real quick, like it wouldn't take long.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
like
a good genius thought right there. I don't even know if that's maybe something that they're doing. You know what I mean?
I mean, like in a fantasy way, they could start their own Silicon Valley. You know, like, hey, I need to program this thing. Let's call up the Navajos.
Right.
You know, get some badass coders.
Yeah. The next train of thought with all that is the concrete jungle that we live in. Are they living a better life now, or would it be better if they got a 9-to-5 job, worked in software, and did that? That's everyone has to make their own choice on that, because you see, or I don't know, I watch things on like YouTube where people are living out in the wild, and if
some people love that. Like
Yeah.
some of these guys are so into that lifestyle. I mean,
yeah, to each their own.
yeah, that like some of these Native Americans are so traditional. It's like, damn, it's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They live off the land. They can. I guarantee they can survive any situation out there. They know how to do things.
Are they driving a Jeep?
Yeah, or just, some don't even drive, man. They're walking. They walk like 50 miles in a day. You're like, holy shit, man, it's wild. You know
I
what mean?
walked here.
Yeah, so some people love that. I don't know.
What
I guess
type of-
to each their own.
What type of racism did you, when you mentioned?
Just you participate in.
Damn.
What kind of racist crimes did you enact? Sorry.
with the town with
Pitchforks and torches and no.
with the Native Americans there, and then that small town. What stories of racism did you see?
Just a common day little, you know, or just everyday like little like grunts and like little chatter that people would have when somebody would walk in, or like it's pretty common to like sit down at a restaurant and you'll be eating and then somebody come over with their trying to sell you something, jewelry or something, because that's the only way they can make money. You're like, oh my god, this mother, and you'll see this stuff and they'll say something immediately after they walk away, and like, ugh. Just you kind of see these things and you're like, but you'll hear this from table to table, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just pretty sad with that, you know what I mean? But I mean,
I think Liem's kind of keying in on it, because I think probably you've had some Asian experiences or experiences of racism, being Asian, being outwardly physically Asian. People treat you differently in certain situations.
he's Asian.
It's a little bit, yeah.
I don't even see it. No,
He's a backdoor Asian.
Yeah, from my software engineering career, I think the two biggest things that I've encountered is either height, actually, me being short, and then my looks, being Asian. I don't know which of the two is the biggest factor. Working in software engineering, my English is very good. I was raised in a very predominantly white neighborhood, and my English is so well that when I hang out with certain Asians, they make fun of me. They're like, "You're so fucking white," and it actually fucking hurts me a little bit.
Right.
I mean, I had one female. She said it like 3 times back to back, like laughing at me, like, "Ha ha ha, you're so fucking white.
Okay,
how
white boy.
are you so white? You talk so white." I'm like, "Damn, woman, chill out. Like, this is a little party setting. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time." Like,
Yeah.
now
I mean, she was into you.
Oh,
it didn't say but in the office setting, whether it be
She wanted your white dingo.
whether it be the way the managers would give other white people promotions, I don't know if they look down at me because physically look down at me like I'm a short guy, and they wouldn't, maybe subconsciously they don't want to hear the advice from a shorter guy,
little guy.
And I don't have I've actually been told word for word, someone's like, after they worked with me for about a year, they said, I'm really glad you didn't have short man syndrome. I'm like, what? They're like,
really?
We hired you and we liked you, the way you interviewed. We were just afraid that you'd come in and just have a short man syndrome. And they're like, you talk so logically, everything that you pitch, everything that you do software wise and interact with the teams, there's never an uneven balance on the way you treat people. And then, but yet when it came to asking for a promotion, I never really got the promotion at that company.
Did you just feel uncomfortable because of all that? To not ask?
As in the way they said that to me, or what do you mean?
Or just
why didn't you get the promotion?
Having that in the back of your head?
No, I think I'm just the way that I am. I don't really. I try to treat the whole world around me at a balance of, hey, you've done this to me, I'm going to treat you a certain way. If you treat me bad, I'm going to stay away from you. If you treated me good, I usually try to take it a step up and be even more good to you. So I think when they said that, I think because I know that's the way I handle myself. I don't have a small man syndrome.
Self-confidence too is a good break away from any kind of ideas they may have formulated before meeting you. Or,
but at the same time on that, where you're asking the promotion, did I get a promotion or did that affect me? That it felt like I did so many things there and I should have been promoted.
Yeah.
So that I felt that either height or looks,
there's definitely a lot of height that plays into the corporate world as far as promotions and jobs. I knew a guy in college, his younger brother was like early 20s, but he started going gray real early. And he was working at this company for like a year, and then they gave him a big promotion. And then they found out how old he was, that he wasn't as old as he looked. And they wanted to take it back, but they couldn't because they'd already promoted the guy. But they definitely, his perceived age factored into their decision to promote him. And
so I always say dress for the job you want, and maybe that even has some.
Oh yeah,
that, you know what I mean.
I remember years ago I was talking about doing pepper and black in my hair because at that time I didn't have any gray hairs. So I was thinking about actually literally
trying to look older
because one interview especially that stuck out to me that kind of affected me was I went through the 2 phone interviews and they're like, wow, this guy, he sounds like he's really good. He's because on my resume I have 15 years of software experience, 15 years of software engineering experience. But most people that have 15 years are usually actually older. They're probably in mid 40s, 50s, early 50s. So,
well, and for our audience, if you're Asian, you tend to look younger than your age in most cases. Yeah.
So at that point, I was like 34, somewhere 32. And at that point, I had 12, 13 years of experience. And so during the phone interviews, they hear my very American voice, I guess I would say it, meaning I don't have an accent. I don't have an Asian accent. So
and then you show up.
I show up in a suit and everything. And literally, like, as I turn the corner into their meeting room, they're all laughing. They're talking to some story, whatever. And their faces, like, they see me and they're like,
who's this kid? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I knew I didn't get the job.
Shit.
Yeah.
I knew it. I didn't let it affect me. I went in, I did my personality, played it all out, but I knew I didn't get the job and I didn't get the job.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the world we live in, I guess. You know what I mean? Like my last name being Diaz, sometimes they'll look at me and be like, maybe.
Oh, you talk pretty good for a Mexican.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once I get the phone call, he's got it going on. But no, but like they'll look at my thing and she's like, oh, it's just another Mexican guy, And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And we got enough of those guys, Sometimes you'll see that, and you're like, all right. But I don't know, man. I try to like stand out. It's good that you
each time
once you show up, I'm sure you wow them with something else. You know what I mean? But hopefully that we can just get somewhere and like just us as a human race we're not thinking about that all the time.
Yeah. I think that's about most people subconsciously let it affect them. And they're not somehow trying to fix it. But anyways, that's the world we live in. I don't really have an answer really.
Yeah. I'd just be good to people, man. Good to be. Yeah. Like I try to not see color and I try to see people as an individual. And if you're interesting, you're interesting. If you're a dickhead, you're not. And I tend to not gravitate myself towards you, you know? So
I bet you could be an interesting dickhead.
I could, I bet.
There's one out there.
Yeah.
You're an unlikable but very interesting person.
Huh. That's true.
What's your favorite drink?
Depends. If I was going to say to a guest, my favorite drink would be the Manhattan. Just because.
Because you want young women to suffer?
Yeah, I want young women to suffer. No, but honestly, like, I always looked at the Manhattan as a really sophisticated cocktail. I'd see, like, people during, like, the Sinatra era just drinking these really fine cocktails. I'm like, damn, the Manhattan just seemed like the peak of, like, if you made it, and you have a Manhattan or a martini sitting in your hand. I was like, that's badass. So I would, like, learn about the Manhattan. Like, do you know the recipe for a Manhattan?
I was just going to ask also, what is your perfect recipe for a Manhattan too?
It's the zip code for Manhattan. Do you know the zip code?
I don't know what you're talking about with zip code. There is something called a perfect.
I mean,
I was going to ask what you think is the best Manhattan.
The area code, I mean, is 212. That's the area code. So that's the perfect recipe. 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce sweet vermouth, 2 dashes of bitters. And it could be orange bitters, or Angostura bitters, whatever you want. You can substitute bourbon or rye, whatever you want.
I was going to say, if you're going to be a mixologist, it would default to rye.
Yeah, it'd be rye. So it just depends on what you want in it, but I always thought that was super, super cool. But
I like to go a little bit heavy on the sweet vermouth.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a preference thing. You make it to your flavor, you know? And then if it's just me, I actually love green chartreuse, which is like this French liqueur with a bunch of different herbs in it.
It's like if you mixed poison and medicine and made it green, it would taste like that.
But it's so good. I don't know. What the fuck?
And it's flammable. You can light it on fire.
So the reason this is my favorite drink is because I have a Taco Bell and a liquor store right next to each other. So I go get a Baja Blast and green chartreuse, and it's the best fucking thing on earth.
You've just flushed away all of your credibility.
All my credibility?
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Sometimes you can eat bullshit. You know, if you were a chef, sometimes you're going to go to McDonald's. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, man.
Well, no, I actually like...
Yeah, what's your goofy drink that you like?
Mixologists get to be real snobby. Like, I'm never snobby about it. Like, whatever you enjoy drinking, enjoy that, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I like Long Island iced teas too much. I'll enjoy White Russians. That's not real popular to drink a White Russian.
I just don't like the way it makes me feel after. I'm like, oh God.
Have you done it with like soy milk?
I haven't, but I'm sure it's amazing. Yeah.
But when I interviewed for Cosmo, it was a pre-union. It was a super mixology place, and I was really stretching to try to be a mixologist. I studied everything beforehand, and I knew I was coming in hot for this interview and trying to like fake the funk to get in.
I know.
And you know, it went great. You know, it was Marina was there, and we really connected and had a great time. And this old manager named Greg, who was a really fun guy. But at the end, they hit me with a surprise question: "What's your favorite drink?" And I wasn't ready for that because I'd been like, all this mixology mindset the whole time. And I was like, "Shit, I guess I'll just be honest. Like, I really like kamikazes." And Greg was like, "Yeah, me too. That's a great drink."
Yeah.
But I knew it was not a popular mixology drink. It's a real basic 80s drink.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I was like, yeah, kamikazes taste great, man. It's just fun.
With high-end alcohol. Yeah. That's what makes it great. Just kidding.
Yeah, and you can put a twist on anything, and then it becomes fancier. It becomes excellent. You know, but I didn't
fresh juice as opposed to some sour mix or something.
Yeah,
goofy.
but I think after this hour interview, I'd run out of bullshit.
Yeah.
I just love kamikazes.
Yeah, a lot of it's bullshit for sure. You gotta bullshit. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So there's a line between enjoying cocktails and enjoying new and different things, and then this part where you get too snobby of looking down on other people for their alcohol taste, and I don't go there. I don't go there, and the other place I don't go is when the showmanship behind the bar. Like, yeah, you can put on a show, but the moment you start looking like a magician, I'm like, oh, relax, bro. Come on.
True. I've actually
just make the drink.
I actually went to a working flair, which is different from flair. Like flair bartending is when you start looking like a magician. But a little nice touch isn't too bad. But like he's saying, if it's too much, it's too much. You know.
Yeah. If you're juggling,
kind of goofy, dude.
Yeah, juggling for 20 seconds before doing a 1 ounce pour. It's like
God damn, dude. I want a vodka cranberry, man. It's like that shit took 20 minutes, dude. I gotta go. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite? So Manhattan is your personal favorite. What you would drink now?
It's my yeah, it's like my go-to if I'm gonna go to a bar and like somebody else is ordering for me, like get me a Manhattan. I don't care. It could be bourbon or rye. It doesn't matter. Whatever the bartender wants to make, but that's pretty much
On
it.
the rocks with a float of chartreuse.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's probably all right. But
Do you happen to have a what do you think drink wise for customers that has the best, I don't know, effect? Like someone when they ask for you to suggest a drink and then you make something. I'm guessing usually when they ask, you usually ask them what type of drink.
I kind of interview them.
Yeah,
I'll be like what drinks have you liked in the past? How's your day going? Sometimes they want a stiff drink. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can see that shit. Or like you'll be like, you look at their age. Obviously, the younger ones typically like sweeter stuff because your palate doesn't change to your older and you don't like bitter or more things like that. So, like if it's a young person, maybe something that they're gonna be like, whoa, like something that's gonna get them interested in the drink. It's gonna look great. It's gonna taste a little on the more sweet side. It's not gonna be like a dark spirit because typically the younger ones don't like darker spirits. They'll go with like a rum or a vodka or something like that. And then you kind of tailor off of that. But then there's always that one person that blows your mind. You're like, holy shit, you like that? That's super awesome. And that's actually a conversation opener. But and then if there's like an older person, maybe I'll go to like an 80s cocktail. You know what I mean? Something that they can recognize, but I just make it way better, you know? Like, hey, have you had a sidecar before? And I'll do it this way, and I'll add, you know, maybe some egg whites to kind of give it a nice texture when they drink it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes it's what you got on the bar. Like if you got a load of fresh raspberries, then you're like, oh, how can I incorporate these raspberries?
What can I make? Oh, right here?
Yeah. And you know, if you got shitty rosemary that's 3 days old, you're like, I'm gonna try to avoid rosemary drinks.
Yeah.
You know,
we don't have old shit at there. It's all fresh. No.
It used to be a fantastic large fresh scale program.
Yeah, it was actually the largest in the world at the time, right?
Yeah, it used to be
fresh cocktails. Now, we lost our chief mixologist, and that probably happened through COVID. But I think they're going to try to they're still keeping a great high level of doing things. It's just that maybe they instead of making the Bloody Mary from scratch and it taking all this time for us to do it, they go and find a place that will do that, and the quality comes down a little bit. It's still amazing, but it's just I don't know. I like to craft in front of the person. It's just kind of a better way to go if you have the time.
Yeah.
This definitely saves time, makes us a lot more money, I'm sure.
The annoying one is when somebody walks up and goes, yeah, surprise me. I'm like, okay, do you like tequila or bourbon? Like, oh, gross.
Surprise me. Shot.
I love vodka. I'm like, okay, let me surprise you with something vodka.
The easiest thing ever, right?
Yeah, vodka gets a bad rap because it is the most distilled alcohol, and you're just down to the alcohol and you add water back in. So it is the most neutral flavor-wise. It doesn't
taste like anything, doesn't smell like anything.
Unless you add flavors back to like a peach vodka or something. But basic vodka, straight vodka is distilled to just alcohol is where you start. So that's why you'll often hear people talk down about vodka or love mixing vodka, because it's easy to mix because it started at zero. So whatever flavors you want to change it into.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all these spirits. It just depends on what the person wants to drink. But if they come up right off the bat talking about these new soda, like Trulies or all this shit, I'm like, oh God, these are disgusting. What
do you got against vodka soda?
Well, I'll make a vodka soda for you. Fuck.
I used to say that, like, hey,
not malt liquor shit soda.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
People were coming like, hey, do you have White Claw? This is probably about a year and 2 years ago when it was first getting popular. They were like, yeah, White Claw. I'm like, no, but we have a better one called vodka soda.
Yeah. But it doesn't taste like cucumber. I'll put cucumber in. Trust me.
It's like that, but stronger.
Let's jump into your ghost and alien stories.
Oh, so this goes back to...
are they separate, or is this a story with ghosts and aliens?
You decide here. So, I was
getting good.
Raised in Gallup, like I said, around Native Americans. So, I was first introduced to their folklore and stuff like that when I was a kid, and then even before that, I was remember when the Sega Genesis was out, Sonic was the thing. I was in my middle room of my house, my baby brother had just been born, and they were my parents were at my grandparents' house showing him off. So I was home alone, and
this is my chance to jam on some Sonic.
And so what I'm about to say is like everything that's happened afterward is all kind of, it's all similar. So like the room got super cold, like the temperature gets cold all of a sudden. I mean, things start to get more like audible. Like you can kind of hear things further, and you're like, wait, what's going on? And I got super thirsty. This was the first time, so I paused the game. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get some water, but God, I need a blanket. And I got a blanket. I put it over my shoulder, and from my bedroom, I can look into my parents' bedroom, and in their bedroom, they have like a little den area that was their own like little living room, and they would always leave the fireplace going because it was that side of the house got cold. So we would light up the room this like nice yellow hue, and I saw a man standing there, not in the shadows. Like I actually like just saw this man standing there. I'm like, Dad, holy shit, that's not my dad. That guy's way taller than my dad. And I'm like, someone broke in the house.
Yeah.
Like I'm freaking out, right?
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I mean, at this time it's a landline phone, and the phone's in the front room. And I don't know what to do. And I'm like,
how old are you, bro?
Like 8, something like that.
This is back in 1964.
Yeah, man. So I'm like, maybe 7 or something. And
yeah, I'd be scared too.
I was like, oh shit, someone broke in the house. And like I'm looking at this thing, and he was wearing a black outfit, but it seemed more black than like it seemed like what you look at a shadow and you see like a shadow. It seemed like the shadow had a shadow that was on top of him. It was super, super weird. And I was like, okay. And all of a sudden, this man walked from the back room into my parents' bathroom, which is like catty corner from there. And I just remember freaking out, and I shut the door. And like all I can remember doing, I was like, should I just leave the house? Like, should I go? And I was like, well, I can lock the door and I can barricade it. I had like this chair, and I was like, let me do all I can. And about 10 minutes later, or maybe just time sped up for me, but like 10 minutes later, my parents, I seen the headlights coming up the driveway. It would shine through my room. I was like, someone's in the house. I just opened up the window. My dad comes running in. What the fuck? And he's like just like tearing up the house looking for somebody. I was, I think he's in the bathroom. Nobody was in the house. Yeah. All the windows were locked. Nothing was real disturbed. But the fireplace had went out at that time. He's like, is the gas just on? He's like, what the hell's going on? So it was crazy that had happened, and the gas turned off on a fire, or the fire had gotten wiped out. It was like, whatever that was like almost trying to like poison me with gas and whatever. And then years later, I was laying in that same middle room, and I had my room positioned against the window where my parents, the lights had shined through. And I don't know, I was maybe about 12 at this time. And I felt pressure on the bed as if somebody was trying to climb onto my bed. But from above me, my head's up against the wall. Like imagine if this is the window, my head would have been up against that. I felt pressure, but then I go, and I couldn't go forward. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't move. My head wouldn't move, but I wanted to move. And so this was my first sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Right. And I started to open up my eyes, and I actually got them open, and I looked, and all I seen was a black figure all the way across me, just right above me. I was like, what the hell? Like I can see around me because of the street lights and stuff, but there's something so black just on top of me. I remember kind of looking down, I could just see this body. I'm like, what is going on? And all I wanted to do was like scream for my parents, or like try to get some noise to come out of my mouth. And I just remember like closing my eyes and like using everything I could to get up. And I finally got up, and I went, and I just kind of like launched myself forward. I was like, what the hell was that?
Did you get ghost molested?
I could have. Who knows, man? That was shit, man. But my window was locked. The bedroom door was shut. You know what I mean? It's like no one is in the room. So then about like a few weeks later, another sleep paralysis episode. And then I was like, what is going on with this? And like, I just remember like, I'm just going to close my eyes and just get myself out of this. And then like, I was like, okay, well that happened. And then I felt that weird cold come over the room, and I got super thirsty while I was in sleep paralysis. I'm like, what is going on here? And then,
it's puberty.
I know I got myself, yeah, it probably was actually. I got myself out of it, and I was like, oh God, like this is getting bad. I was like, I got to get some water. So I opened up the door and I went down the hallway to go get to the kitchen to go get some water. And there's another window. Like if you go down the hallway, you can actually see the street light. And if anyone was sitting in front of that window, you would see like the silhouette of a person.
Oh yeah.
And all I remember is seeing a lady sitting there. Like it could have been a young lady, old lady, but I remember seeing like the light shining through the hair, like as if the hair was thin. And I was like, Mom,
Bouffant,
Grandma, Nana, who is that? No one was responding. So I actually go into my parents' room and I'm like, wait, they're laying there. My little brother was in his crib right there. I go, Grandma, nothing. And I remember just seeing this thing just start to like get up, and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, holy shit. So I like shut my parents' bedroom. I ran into their room and I shut their room, and I was like, what in the hell's going on? Again, like a few weeks later, same story. I saw somebody in my front room, except this time it was the silhouette of a man. I was like, am I kind of...
You're like, losing it.
I'm losing it, or I'm being haunted. Like, is this house really haunted?
Are you watching a lot of ghost movies at this time? Are you
nope.
watching?
Nope. Actually, it was like a lot of Disney and bullshit, Hercules and stuff like that. Happy stuff. I should have been happy. I don't know.
I think there was a Kevin Bacon movie where he was getting thirsty all the time, like irrationally thirsty because of the ghosts or something. Like he stocked his whole fridge with fucking Yoo-hoos.
What was that
something.
movie?
I forget.
That sounds familiar.
There's a Kevin Bacon. Oh, he had to like dig holes in his backyard or something crazy.
I gotta look for that. No,
Yeah.
like I actually I watched a documentary on Tubi called The Nightmare.
What's Tubi?
It's like some really cheap app, but it's free. And there's a lot of movies on it.
Oh, okay. You can't admit to doing illegal things.
If you guys want to watch something crazy, go watch The Nightmare on Tubi. And it's this documentary about people that have sleep paralysis and what has happened. And in that movie, there's a man, they call it the Man in the Hat. And it's just a black figure. And it's a man in a hat, but he's surrounded by other people that don't have hats, but they're all these black shadows. Like, remember that, how I said that black shadow over me? And when I saw that movie, I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's me. And it happens with sleep paralysis. And I don't know if this is a thing that's common with people that get that, but I think.
But you were small time, so you didn't get the Hat Man. You got one of the.
Well, I remember
the sidekicks.
Yeah. Well, I seen the guy in the back room the first time, and I remember seeing him with that hat.
Oh, Hat Dude was around. Okay.
Yeah, that was the original guy I saw, and then everyone after was just like these little minions or whatever.
So he's cool. We'll send in the.
Yeah, monkeys. I don't know. It was just it's kind of weird. And then to fast forward, I was probably about 17 at this time, and me and my friend Jared would ride four-wheelers into the reservation, and we found this mountain. And if you looked, or just this like mesa, this like short little hill, and if you ride up to it, it would look flat, or it looked flat if you were looking straight at it. But if you ride up to it, it was actually like opened up with like a little level that you can go behind it. When you go behind, you would actually crawl under it, and then inside was this huge cave. And we're like, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah.
And actually, we had to go and get flashlights, but when we came back with the flashlights, we looked in the back, and there was like almost like bunk beds dug out into the sandstone.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was like
I think they had the same thing in Back to the Future 2, where they hid the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Oh, that was part 3 when he went to the Wild West.
Yeah. So it was cool to see. I was like, well, obviously it's like somebody stays here or had stayed here, because it was like,
no, that's
like
the peyote smoking thing.
Yeah, it was like an old Native American like hideout. It was super weird.
Yeah.
But we were going out there and we were like, well, this is our hangout spot. But there was one time when we seen lights just flashing above, because there was this crack in the sandstone above us. We saw lights, and we were like, oh shit, the cops are here. Like, we got to go. Like, let's get out of here. But when we get out of the cave and we're standing out front, it was super dark. We're like, well, how would anyone even get up on that hill?
Yeah.
And why are we seeing like lights? And all of a sudden we both looked left, and like before LEDs were like a real crazy, like everyone has LEDs on their shit. We seen like 40 or something LEDs just looking at us. Like it looked like the stars had went to our level, and they were all just kind of there, and they were moving. They were kind of dancing up and down. I was like, what the hell is that? And I was like, are those people in the distance? I was like, but that seems super weird. Like you couldn't see anything behind it. You can see like the sagebrush and the desert land, but you couldn't see what those were. And we're like, well, let's take off. So we got on our four-wheelers and took off, and those things would follow us for about 2 miles. Like, this is super crazy. Like, every time we look back, we'd see those things. And then in the fast forward even more,
Well, that sounds like the Navajos have superpowers that they've been hiding from us.
Yeah, I was thinking. Well, and that at the time I was like, this is Native American shit. Like we're on their land, they're probably doing something.
It's like Wakanda out there.
Wakanda,
like a high tech shit.
Yeah, it could have been something like that. Who knows, man? Maybe
playing,
it's Marvel's.
They just storm into town on the 1st just to fuck with everybody and go ape shit at Walmart.
Yeah, that was the entrance to the Avengers right there. Just kidding. I don't know, man, but like, I was actually at my house with my wife in the future. Like I'm fast forwarding way later.
Yeah.
And I was laying next to my wife, and this is probably my most like vivid experience that I had. And I can't tell if it's like ghost or alien or whatever. That's why I was saying you guys decipher that. I was laying next to my wife. We actually switched spots now. I used to lay on the right, and she used to lay on the left, but now I switched it.
Okay.
And I
because of this event,
less problems. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was laying on the right, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. We had went to sleep early. It was an apartment complex that was super quiet. Like there was never any noise. So what I heard was super weird. Like imagine like a stainless steel countertop, and then you running like silverware over the top. You hear that.
Oh yeah, that's what Freddy Krueger does.
Okay, so something like that, right? So imagine
description.
Imagine hearing that, but you're asleep, and then again sleep paralysis hits. I'm like, fuck. I was like, I'm too old for this shit. Like this was something I had as a kid. This is bullshit. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna deal with this, and I was like, I'm gonna try to open my eyes. And I'm like, oh shit, my eyes don't open at all. I was like, I'm stuck.
Look, I gotta move. I gotta see who's fucking around in my kitchen.
Yeah, but then I'm hearing this, and I'm like, is somebody? I was like, wait, I'm not even in my house right now. What am I on? And I felt like I was on a flat slab. Like, and then all of a sudden my arms just went back, and I'm like, I'm not laying on a bed. My arms are actually back, but I can feel something, and I feel like I'm being lifted up. And I'm like, wait a second, I got to get out of this. I was like, this has to be a dream or something. So I'm like, let me try to feel for my wife. I'm like, God, I can't move. And so I was like, I'm just going to focus again and try to get my eyes open. And as I open my eyes, I'm looking down at my feet, and I see like a silver, like almost stainless steel person. Almost that, but it was gritty, almost like a television set that, you know, like when you turn on,
so,
but not as crazy and as intense as seeing the white.
So it's a low res Silver Surfer.
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay.
But seeing one close here, like to my left shoulder, one by my feet, one standing almost like a doctor, like as if I'm in like a hospital bed, and like these are doctors like looking at me and
oh yeah, checking you out.
Imagine that. I can see a blue hue behind the one on my left foot, and then I'm like, well, let me look to my right, and I started to look to my right, and there was one right here. I was like, holy shit!
All up on you.
And then I started to smell these like feathers, and I started to feel this wind, and I'm like,
wait, what do feathers smell like?
Like you never smell like a down pillow, like a feathered pillow?
I can't smell very well.
Oh, which by the way, I didn't have a down pillow at the time. I had like the cheap Ross cheap cotton pillow, so it couldn't have been my pillow that I was smelling.
It's fake pillow.
Yeah, cheap pillow. And so I'm like, why do I smell bird feathers? But then I could feel the wind, and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. So I saw that person, and I started to look up above my right shoulder because I could see a presence, and I saw an owl without any feathers on it. Imagine just an owl that was featherless. Huge though, a huge owl, and it was just flapping its wings, and I just remember
skin flap wings.
Yeah, I remember going like, and all this happened within a quick second. Like I'm telling it slow, but it was like just a pan up to it. And I go, oh my God! And as soon as I saw that, everything just went, and it just went quiet again. And I just started to fall back, and as I fell back, my hand hit my wife so hard, I went boom, and I smacked her across the mouth, and she's like, oh my God! She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, babe, I think I just fell through the roof. Like I just fell, but actually I came at a weird angle. Like I fell like through the window into my bed.
Yeah, you don't hit
like,
the owl on the way in.
And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, are you okay? She's like, what kind of dream were you having? And I was like, and I told her about it. She goes, you want to know what's crazy? She's like, I had a dream just now that somebody was sitting in our room watching me. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know. I just felt like somebody was watching me the whole time. I was like, that's fucked up. Like, I feel like somebody was keeping an eye on her while they took me away. And like, that's just some of the stuff. I got even more stuff, but I don't want to like freak your audience out too much. You know?
You know what? It made me think of when I asked Emmett only like a couple of weeks ago. I said, I was telling my dream stories. The dreams were whether it's a ghost or some evil samurai trying to kill me, whatever it is. And then I asked Emmett, Marielle, and our cousin Steve. Have you, or no, it's you. There's three of you. Who's the third person? Steve said he's
Is this where we're doing fires in the backyard?
No, at your mom's place. But then, and then I asked them, "Do you guys have scary stories ever?" And they said never. To me, I've like once.
You have scary stories?
Like once every 5 years. That's probably on
bad
average.
dreams.
Bad dreams. Yeah. Once every 5 years. So I'll give you mine. I'll try to go through them quick for the heck of it. One time I went to visit my dad. Slept in a room that I'm not used to. I don't live there. He lives in Texas. I was sleeping, and then a red colored samurai is looking at me, but it's like an evil one that wants to kill me.
You can feel it.
In my dream, I could see him, and I couldn't quite move. And then I was able to kind of just wake myself up eventually. And as I opened my eyes, in my dream, he was standing there right at the foot of my bed, and my freaking you could see goosebumps on my arms right now. I freaking lunged forward and kicked through him, and he dissipated like a gas.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So I ran downstairs, turned all the lights, and I slept on my dad's couch for that night. So that one was the first time something where I saw it in what felt like real life. I'm gonna say what felt like real life because I definitely kicked. I opened my eyes. I believe the brain is very fluid in its processing. So maybe is it possible I was still sleeping when I kicked? I don't think so. But so anyways, that's the first time I saw something outside of a dream. Another time was me and Emmett were living at Pandora. That doesn't matter. I was sleeping in my room.
Well, somebody actually broke in there.
Yeah, but I think this was before that break-in.
Okay.
Not that it matters. I was sleeping in my room, and it was a figure. There was no face, no nothing. I didn't see a ghost-like figure in my dream comes up and starts choking me. Like it says,
"Oh shit!"
It starts whispering like, "I can fucking kill you, man. You can't do shit about it." And I'm like, I can't breathe, and I'm like, I can't yell, I can't do anything.
Yep.
And then he's
an asshole ghost.
Yeah. And then he eventually lets go. He's like, remember that I could do whatever I want to you. And I like wake up and I'm scared, dude. I'm scared. I'm like,
it's got a power trip.
What are you doing, Emmett?
So I go out to the living room. I turn on all the lights, and I sleep on the couch. And then the ghost comes back on the second. This is the first time I've had a double dream back to back. Wow. And it's the same night. So
he wanted you to remember.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean,
you remember, bitch?
Yeah.
Remember me? You turn on the lights?
And
I'm not that weak.
He starts choking me. I'm saying he because I guess the voice did sound like a he.
Sure.
He's whispering. He's choking me again. It's like, I could fucking choke you, kill you, and Emmett in that other room will not fucking hear you. And I'm like, Emmett. And he's just choking me. And then he's like, I'm going to let you go for now, but remember. And he let me go, and I woke up, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I can't even sleep in another room. Like, what do I do?
What a bully.
And then, so there's dreams like that. I can't think of, I want to say I've had one or two other ones, but so I guess I don't put too much thought in it. The thing that actually blew my mind is when I told you guys about the dreams, and 3 of you are like, no, we don't have any of those dreams ever. I'm like, really?
I forget most of my dreams.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother says he never dreams. I'm like, really? God.
I think it happens. You just don't remember it when you wake up.
Yeah. But not everything always happens in dreams for me. Like one thing I haven't mentioned, like you were saying, like actually happens in like real life, real time. I was laying there watching Jerry Springer on a leather couch like this onto my side. And you know, leather couches, when it gets hot, you get sticky. You're like, ugh, like you have to peel yourself away from it. I peeled myself away.
We started with sticking to a leather couch and Jerry Springer.
Yeah. My pants were off. No. But I like got myself up. I was like, oh God. And I'm super sticky. And I remember looking, and I looked under my coffee table. Sure enough, there's just a small baby under there. With old man skin, almost like what you'd see like Benjamin Button. Like imagine like a wrinkly skin. But it seems so real. And I go, what the hell? So I lay back down and I go, did I just see that? I go, let me look again. And now it wasn't there, but the indentation was there on the carpet of something that was there. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, here we go. Now it's happening when I'm awake. just weird shit that's going on. You know,
It's a metaphor for all the paternity issues on Jerry Springer.
Yeah. Oh, it could have been. You are the father. No.
Your father's older than you. Wait, no.
Yeah, it could have been. No, but I don't know, man. Like, just weird stuff has happened like that.
What would you, if you have other stories, feel free. Or I was just going to ask, what do you? You don't have to answer this if you have other stories. Where do you what do you conclude on this?
Do you know Jeffrey Epstein?
Right.
Did you hang out with him in New York?
He didn't kill himself. No. I don't know, man. I honestly, experiencing it and feeling it, like, I don't even know if I've described it enough because I wanted to just kind of like summarize the whole thing, but like feeling it and seeing it, and I don't know. I know that there's something bigger out there. I know that what I felt was real as hell to me. You know what I mean? And then seeing that other people, like seeing that documentary and seeing other people experience very similar stuff, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, obviously or maybe it's just a consciousness that we all have because we are human. Maybe it's just that's the way we all perceive life and dreams or things that happen to us, and that's how our brains process it. Maybe it's different for like a dog. Maybe dogs all kind of see the same thing, but like, you know, we just don't know about it.
They dream about tennis balls.
Yeah, they're dreaming about chasing their tails and shit. I know that for a fact. But I'm just like, I don't know, maybe that's what it is, but if not, I think it's all this. And like, I'll tell you another thing. You guys know what a manananggal is?
Manananggal?
Filipino folklore about a lady that she's pretty much a witch, but she's half body. She's like looking for her daughter or something like that.
Wait, top half or bottom half?
Yeah, not the good side. No, it's just she's like just a torso and a head and like wings, so she can fly.
Oh, she got no legs, so she's flying around.
Yeah, but she's flying around.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, okay. And then me and my friend were heading back from Phoenix to New Mexico, and in the sky, I seen this big flapping, what I thought was a huge bird or a eagle or something. I'm like, God, that thing is big. And I'm like, wait, that's not even like bird wings. It was like reptilian wings. I'm like, what the hell? And at the time I had a razor phone. You remember the flip razor?
Yeah.
And I was like, let me try to get this shit. And I clicked it and I looked at the picture. I was like, that thing's fucking crazy. I was like, look at the body on it. It seemed human in the body with reptilian wings. I was like, what in the hell was that? I probably can actually find that razor phone. I don't even know. I still have old shit in my drawers.
But you have the evidence.
I'd probably do.
Of the Filipino manananggal chasing you out of Phoenix.
Well, and I didn't even know what a manananggal was until I roomed with my Filipino roommate.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about that, and I described it, and he goes, that's a manananggal or mananang. I didn't even know how to say the word. But he had told me about it. He's like, holy shit, man. And like, I actually seen that during the day. It was like midday. Like, we had just gone to lunch, and, you know, so it shouldn't have been.
Yeah. I think I always default to what is the most logical explanation. What's the most logical possibility? I mean, was it some kind of bat? You know, sleep paralysis certainly is a very common thing for everybody. And then, you know, while we're dreaming, of course, we're going to see weird shit when we're dreaming. So I tend to lean towards, you know, there's probably some logical thing going on. You know,
you ever had anything crazy happen to you?
Yeah, but I go back to a lot. So like when I was in high school, there was a time where me and a buddy were going to some chick's house, and it was in a high-rise condo, and you know, nobody was around. It was like a Friday night, and it was weird that nobody was around, and you know, and we go knock on the wrong door, and something spooky happens, and we run to the elevator, and you know, it looks like the elevator's chasing us, and we get downstairs, and you know, there's ghost stories of, you know, some maid lady died in this pool and her kid died too. And then so you could chalk it all up to a ghosty experience, or, you know, two scared ass high school dudes running around like idiots. You know, like, was there really a ghost? No, it was just two clowns. You know, so I tend to lean that way.
Right on.
But I don't have real vivid experiences. I would never discount somebody else's experience in that. I'm sure you experience those things.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you go looking for it, you'll find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I steer away. Like, I don't want to be scared. Like, there's no benefit to me to being scared,
right?
At any point. So at any time something starts to get a little scary, I'll find some other place to go or some other thing to think about and occupy my mind.
One time we found ourselves at a there was like a sports complex, had baseball fields and stuff, but out in the desert, there's this random like brick house, or it's not brick, it's like old stone, almost like what you'd see on a medieval castle. It's just like a house built out there with one door, no windows, and it's pitch black on the inside. We went out there on our dirt bikes and saw this thing. We're like, that's crazy. So I took my cousin Michael one time. I was like, you guys want to go see a crazy little area? So I showed him the house, and he goes in, and I started to walk in the door, and all I heard was a scream, and it goes, "Get out of my house!" And I was like, holy shit! But we couldn't see nothing. Like there was nobody in there. There was nothing on the floor. It's all dirt. But like we were like, oh my God, was that like a witch house or what the hell was that?
Yeah, you were in his house.
Yeah, man, that was super scary. But I was like, oh shit! And ever since then, like I had told my parents about that. Oh yeah, that's like an old like witch house and this and that, or like
I actually screamed the same thing the first time we had burglars.
Yeah,
I mean they ended up being a bunch of like kids, like middle school age kids.
What happened with that?
I yelled exactly that, and they all ran out the windows and I caught one of them. I should have held him for the police, but I looked at him and he was like literally like an 11-year-old kid.
Oh yeah.
It was we when we were living together, we were throwing a lot of parties. So Emmett thought it was some of my friends.
When I first came in,
he had no idea. He was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?"
We're used to having a lot of people around.
Yeah. So then he realized there's stuff like things moved that were about that the kids were about to take, and then so he was yelling at them. A slightly interesting thing. Remember we talked about the Uncle Mark and Aunt Cam's house where quite a few people had experiences in that house. Like for me, I always felt some type of presence there. And I would chalk it up. I was just a kid. I was, after telling Min the story, his response was interesting where he said, don't you remember that's right after we saw Chucky, the movie, and It, the Stephen King movie. So Min was saying, well, that's where all of our fears kind of probably stemmed from. In that house, my mom had an occasion where her and my uncle, I believe, a box just started rattling by itself, and there was just some belts in there, so the belts was rattling,
and a vibrator.
Could have been. They didn't tell me that part of the story. And then another time, two uncles were upstairs. So it's always upstairs, it seems like, in that house. My Uncle Bob said that there was definitely footsteps near him, and there's no presence there, or no visible thing there. So, and then Uncle Mark said that the closet light would turn on or off by itself. I forget on or off which one. It would turn on by itself, I think. And they had no idea why it would turn on by itself.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked at a dialysis clinic, and I was in the break room, and I had just a Coke can, which I barely took a sip out of. And all of a sudden it started the vibrating thing. It goes, it started to move, and it went like a quarter way down the table. Weird. And then it found its way back to me. I was like, what the hell?
Drink me.
And I was like, Alan, check this out. I was like, dude, he's right. I was like, dude, look at this. And as he's walking in, it's still going like this. He's like, what? I'm like, did you not just see that? He's like, yeah, why was that vibrating? I was like, dude, it like went way over here and came back. Oh, weird. Wow. So I don't know, man. There's just weird things in this world, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably a damn earthquake, but you never know.
All right, let's get into the final questions.
Are we out of time already?
We are about 30 minutes out from time.
All right.
It's getting get freaky now.
Now,
first question. Actually, you already said the answer to this, but I'll just ask it anyways. Or I think I know the answer, but what great daily habits do you have?
Like I said, yeah, stretching.
Yep,
for sure. Stretching. I like a good shower, man. I don't take a long time in it, but I like to shower.
Showering daily.
There's something about staying clean that you're like,
like Carl.
Yeah.
Carl answered, what can he not live without? This
is how much dudes are struggling. We're like, if I could shower every day, life would be really on another level.
Yeah. I like to shower. Definitely like to get a little sun. You know what I mean? Even if it's for like 10 minutes outside. Like,
good one, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just stand out in the sun and just bathe in it. And then I don't know, I at least my whole thing is like I like to challenge myself every day. So I'm kind of I like to write down like not only like my goals for the day, but some thoughts I might have. So I'll write it down and be like, let's see if I can make this goal I'm gonna challenge myself to get this goal done, and then maybe tomorrow this is what I'm gonna accomplish. You know, it's just that's my habits I think I have, and then
I think one time we were texting and Isaac was like, let me see if I can replace this whole bathroom.
Right?
With like zero experience. He just goes in there.
I did it.
He tore the shit out of his bathroom and like, I would have had a plan.
Did I send you pictures and shit? Like I looked at my sink. I was like, this sink sucks. It's very big. Like you can almost like touch the door how wide it is. I'm taking it out. So I go, and I ripped it out. I was like, you shitting me, dude? I just shut off the water. I was like, I'm ripping this fucking sink out. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I'll cause my own problems so I can have things to do.
A challenge.
Yeah.
I think a lot of motivated steps or things that you want to do leads to so many questions or things that you break or some things like doing this podcast thing. Holy crap. Like learning video, DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere. Audio now, I don't. I suck at audio. I can't even color grade that well, and goodness. So,
I mean, you gotta be a professional at every point of this. Yeah,
I think actually something that I thought about when you and your cousin Aaron were talking.
My brother, yeah.
I'm sorry, your brother. Or did I say something? I think.
Are you sure he's not your cousin?
You might be. Shit, who knows?
Something to get into. I feel it's required for getting into YouTube is you either have to be really good at photography already or know something about it, or be a somewhat in software of some sort, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of software, installing apps and editing and whatnot, or graphics designer. You have to be at least one of the pieces. I feel like if you're somebody that you have nothing about anything about video, YouTube, internet,
it's daunting. That's some hard work.
I feel like if you don't know at least one segment of that, it's super daunting.
What about alcohol? Do you drink daily?
No, no. Actually,
it's a bad habit.
No, like of course, all of our early 20s are probably alcohol filled, but then like now being in the profession, I'm like, dude, I'm okay with just water. Like this is just water. Like and actually taking a break from it, like I can't. There's no way I can drink the way I used to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it hurts more.
Yeah,
you're indestructible in your 20s.
So like
you can wreck yourself pretty easily.
I'll drink when it's like special occasions, you know, or I don't know. Maybe there's just that one day, like me and my wife look at each other like we're going out drinking. God damn it, this week sucked. You know what I mean? We're gonna party today.
Yeah,
and then but I think I know what the aftermath feels like, so that's why I don't like drinking so much.
Yeah, it hurts more and more.
Yeah, so I don't know. Enjoy it. I do have a couple like ways to some hangover cures though.
Oh,
like,
share.
Have you ever heard of activated charcoal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know about those?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, you haven't tried it? So yeah, they got these pills you can find out at Walgreens, CVS. That thing is activated charcoal. Just take like a handful, like 4 or 5, and you just down them.
I'm taking like 1.
No, dude.
You need to pound it?
Well, I as much as I'm going to be drinking, hell yeah. So I take about 4 or 5 and I throw them in to my body. And essentially what they're doing, like, like the pure water filters on your sink.
Yeah, yep.
They have charcoal on the inside, so it's taking the impurities out. It's pretty much what it's doing inside your body. That's what they do for somebody that had like a drug overdose or something. They fill them with charcoal and it kind of takes the drama away. So you do that.
Drama.
Yeah, you do that. And then, you have a lesser hangover the next day, or at least you can come alive a lot quicker. You know what I mean?
Does it take away any of the drunk feeling?
Nope.
Or only just
Nope,
just
you're
things
still
that make
wasted
you feel
as hell.
shitty?
You're still partying and getting crazy, man. The EDM music's hitting hard, you know? And then that, or go to GNC and get like somebody that's a bodybuilder, get like a multivitamin, like the animal pack. That there's like 12 or 15 vitamins in it. Take that before your drinking bender, and then you feel great. Like that is actually probably the best. Well, you take it like midway through. Like I know you're gonna be doing shots and stuff, but if you can remember the little animal packet in your pocket.
Let me take my vitamins, bro.
Yeah, you seem like a weird person doing it, but then you go watch this bitch, and then tomorrow they're dying and laying on the floor, and you're like, let's go. Except you find yourself buying everyone breakfast because you're the only one up. But So that definitely works out.
Animal pack. Got it.
Animal pack. The yellow and black canister. I don't know about the other one. The other one's like some other shit. I just found that out because like I was trying to work out at one point and I was like, these actually kind of help me with hangovers more so than the gym, obviously.
We're not getting any buffer. Great.
Those hangovers feel good. Yeah.
All right. Second question: what do you think or know of cryptocurrency?
Well, I was dabbling in it when the Bitcoin thing was first taken off. My other friend Isaac, he actually calls me up. Like, I don't know how he knew about it. He got out of a 9-year prison sentence, and he calls me and he's like, "Hey, you know anything about cryptocurrency?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, there's this thing called Bitcoin, and here's how you get in." I was like, "Okay." And this was around when it was around like.
I love getting financial advice from a person straight out of prison.
That's why I didn't trust him at first. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, what is that? But then he tells me about it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that sounds cool and everything. And he bought in around $350 is what the price was at the time.
Yeah.
And I waited till it was around like 850. And I was like, well, let me try this shit. So I put in like $40 within like a 2-day period. I like doubled or tripled that. And then I was like, well, let me put in some more money. And I like doubled or tripled that. And I was like, wow, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then everyone started buying into it. I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, well, I'm just going to leave what I have in there and let's see what's going on. And I ended up making like a couple grand. And I was like, this is pretty badass. But then I didn't know how to sell the shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, oh, fuck. And it started to come down. So I was in a panic to sell it.
Oh, it's called panic selling.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, oh, fuck. So I ended up figuring out how to sell the thing and without actually taking like a huge percentage on selling it. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'm out. I made like $1,800 on one, and I think I made like 2,000 on the other. And I was like, I'm out. So, and I watched everyone else just lose their cash, and you heard about people putting their mortgages out there just selling their homes to buy crypto, and you're like, holy shit! So you saw people
like
failing.
2015 or what was the
something like that? Whenever that was.
Weird.
So I was like, and then after that, I was like, well, let me get out for a while, and then. But I would always check because I had the apps, and I would check and be like, it's still down. But like a year later, I was like, oh, it's back to where it was. No way can it get bigger. And it kept getting bigger and bigger. What is it, like $55,000 for Bitcoin now?
Yeah. I usually check all the time.
It's 53 last time.
Yeah, something like that. Like, that's fucking unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And then you hear like Tesla buys into it, and you can use it with Amazon and Apple, and then you hear like a casino like Resorts World here in Vegas is now going to take their you can actually use cryptocurrency on property, and like that's a good sign for that.
Yeah.
But as far as now what's going on, I just hear everyone's getting rich on this Dogecoin or Dogecoin or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but no, I've been out of it for a little while.
Yeah. What
you guys obviously talk about it a lot. So.
Oh yeah, I love cryptocurrency. It's an amazing technology. It's an innovation that we have yet to ever have. I hope, I know my hopes for it is very optimistic. I think it's a great, amazing, fantastic tool. I just don't know if humans will learn how to utilize it well. I think it will. I personally think it will.
Hey man, we figured out activated charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard about like the consensus mechanism under it, or do you kind of know why so many nerds are really big into it?
No, go ahead and explain.
So it's a
nerd talk.
It's around the world. There's millions and millions of miners and or validators, depending on what cryptocurrency you're into. But it's virtually unhackable.
Sure.
So
I have heard how it's all.
Yeah. So all these miners are basically a part of the network. They're nodes that are a part of the network, and they're unhackable. And also, it's
because they're each independent.
They're each independent, and it behooves each independent node, that the millions of them, to work together and have a consensus. Any hacker that tries to come in, they usually get kicked out. Through the 12 years of Bitcoin, there has not been a hack on the consensus yet. And the math behind it is pretty solid. So that's when you have consensus, then it starts to go through there's paradigm shifts all over the place. I do this. My biggest thing for it is truth by consensus. That could change everything from insurance to lawyers to accountants to third-party insurance. If you get in a car accident, you have a third-party adjuster that you could rate into, hopefully they're 50-50, where they choose the insurance company 50% of the time and they choose you 50% of the time. And on the blockchain, that insurance company will have money on there and it'll automatically send you money. So I think that's one easy paradigm for me to kind of quickly explain. So I think it's genie's out of the bottle. You can't turn the stuff off. Government, I believe government cannot kill it. They could.
They would like to.
They could hurt it pretty bad, but you can't turn it off. You'd have to bring us back to the dark ages. You'd have to EMP bomb the entire
How would they
world.
hurt it? Just not allow
They
it?
just regulate it the hell, like regulate the hell out of it. Like if the U.S. government were to say cryptocurrency is illegal in America, then you'll still have like Asia and whatnot. And I think that would actually be really bad for America to do that. But from a technological standpoint, I think this innovation is so amazing. So that's, I think when I think about the price of Bitcoin and or Ethereum, I like Ethereum number 2, the number 2 coin. I think the price is only going to go up. Yes, it's going to have its dips, but if you zoom out, the price is probably only going to go up. I could be wrong on that. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes. Do your own research. So yeah, I believe in. I
see some of these predictions there. It's like, damn, that you really think it's gonna be that much? 100,000.
Yeah,
you know, I'm like,
I think it's possible.
pretty up there.
But depending on who it is, the more wild thing they say, the more clicks they'll get, right? So some of that is hype.
Sure.
In that,
That's what the first boom was.
Yeah. If I go say something might happen, then that's not going to get you a lot of clicks. But you go, oh, this coin is going to go to 1 million.
Yeah.
Then that'll get you a lot of views, right? So in a way, they're being entertaining.
Those ones are, yeah. Personally, I do think that Ethereum and or Bitcoin, Bitcoin is kind of, it's older technology. I think hopefully when people start finding out, they should see that Ethereum or something else. It doesn't have to be Ethereum. Bitcoin is proof of work. It's slow. It's really it doesn't have a programming layer on it where Ethereum does. So I think that's where Ethereum can overtake this whole thing. Other ones are similar to Ethereum: Cardano, Solana, Harmony One. There's a few other ones, and that if they compete, one will hopefully win. We'll see where that comes out. But right now, the King Kong, in my opinion, is Ethereum. And if it hits $100,000 a coin, I haven't done my math on M0, M1 cash in the world. M0 is the liquid cash that's printed, and then M1 includes digital money, and then M2 includes loans, mortgages, and whatnot. With M0 alone at 25 trillion, if I'm correct, I think that supports potentially Ethereum even at 100,000 per coin. Right now, Ethereum's 4,000. So people think it's crazy, and or maybe other YouTube channels are trying to say that to create to get more clicks.
A buzz,
But I think from a mathematical breakdown analysis of the economy, I think it can actually support that. So what is that, a 50x?
Maybe I'll come to you for some advice, man, or you too, huh? You're into this pretty
I don't know
well,
what
right?
you're talking about.
Oh, all right.
he knows quite a bit.
All right. Well, I don't know, man, because I'd like to get in, but
I think there's a real simple way to look at it. Like, there's a lot of things you can invest in or buy. Is there something better to buy? Like,
well, I had a friend that, I mean, he dabbles in the stock market with just common day stuff.
Yeah.
And he was doing well, and he was always against the Bitcoin thing, but just now he's like, I'm going to be buying this stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe there's something to it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So
we could go into a whole long, we need another 3 hours.
Right.
I'll try to sum up what I think Emmett was going to say. There's only really 3 appreciating assets: homes, stocks, and cryptocurrency. And if you're going to invest in anything, or I guess you could say potential businesses are potentially appreciating assets, but that's
Risky.
Prostitutes.
Got to take care of your host.
Yeah. Take care of your
Who
host.
was it was someone telling us yesterday, I won't say the name, about their drug dealing, how he
Oh, don't tell who that was.
Yeah, I'm not going to walk shit. The time, well, there shouldn't be a timestamp on the video, so they won't be able to guess who it was. In high school, he made like 160,000 off of selling ecstasy. Fucking A, that's an appreciating asset if you put money into drugs.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a business.
Get caught, and it's not good.
Okay, so out of the 4 possible
So
options,
doing business is risky. buying stock in a business is less risky because you're only buying really well established. Yeah.
And then buying a home is less risky because you have an asset. You actually have a physical home where stocks can crash. I mean, homes could crash in value too.
But the home is your first slam dunk, because if you don't have a home, then you got to rent. So unless you got a free place to live, the home is the first slam dunk thing you can buy.
Yeah.
And you're check, you're good. So you got the big one.
Or unless if you're like me, where you rent super cheap, you live below the means of most people by a big margin. That's only other.
You got a different life plan.
Yeah. That's the only other time that equation we're putting into cryptocurrency or stocks would be better than buying a home. But a home is, if I had to financially advise someone, this is not financial advice, I would.
I was an advisor,
I would say number one is, I would say cryptocurrency. Number two is a home. Number three is stocks.
Wow.
Well, because crypto can multiply so fast, and we're at a unique.
It's a scary thing though because of that.
We're at a unique time. Yeah. We're at a unique time where it looks like it's gonna keep going for a while. It doesn't look like it's gonna crash the way it used to. It used to crash real hard and correct and be super volatile. It looks like it might be a little more stable. But even if it's super volatile, over time the trend is up.
Gotcha.
So if you have some money you can risk, if you have some money you can risk, there doesn't seem to be a better place to risk it.
Yep, exactly.
If
So
I
if you
had
have
to
disposable income that you could throw into this for, I would suggest between.
Got a few checks from the government just recently.
I would say between 5 to 10 years. I would suggest that, because that's where, if you look at the history of Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of the cryptocurrencies, if you hold for a couple of years, that's when you see the skyrocket. But if you keep on buying and selling throughout that, you risk it all. So it's just buy once and buy it, forget it, really. If you don't have the heart, or the mindset like I do, I'm able to look at the price and I see a big dip and I'm just like, yeah.
Nice.
Because I know a big spike is going to happen.
Yeah.
But 90.
I wish I still kept what I had in there, because it would have been way more.
Was it Bitcoin?
Yeah. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other shit at the time. I don't know. One of those damn coins.
Tron dogs. I like making fun of Tron dogs. That one's a funny one. I don't know if that was the actual coin. There were electronic dogs you could buy on the Tron coin or something.
Oh,
it was funny.
I heard something like that.
Well, it was funny because they were a knockoff of Crypto Kitties. So Crypto Kitties is ridiculous to begin with, but then a couple months later, come up with the knockoff Tron dogs. It's especially funny to me. And then especially because Tron is originally some sci-fi neon light motorcycle shit. Yeah. So it all seems ridiculous. I think stuff like that makes it hard to give credibility to.
Well, what's the story with that Dogecoin? That's not. It's like
Doge, Doggy or Doge, because D-O-G and then E, Dog E. But either way, what's the story with it? As far as I understand, there's an ever inflating mechanism. Normally in
so you program these coins.
Yeah,
right? They exist on software.
So Bitcoin and Ethereum have an inflationary rate. I think Bitcoin is 3%. Ethereum is programmed in, from my understanding, there is a fluctuating inflationary rate, but it's between, I think, 0 and 5%, somewhere around there. And those are, as the community around the world, they think those are doable inflation rates. Whereas Doge, I hear something that's like 50,000 a day, 50,000 coins are minted a day, and there's no stop. So it doesn't make any sense. Now it is in the billions. Bitcoin has 18 million coins. Ethereum has 115 million coins. Doge is something I don't know. I want to say 4 billion coins. So minting 50,000 coins over 4 billion isn't that much, but it doesn't seem to work well. Whereas Bitcoin and Ethereum have a inflationary rate that decreases every.
Well, so if you want the value of each coin to go up, you want them to be rare, not printing a ton of them.
Yeah, both.
Just like our cash, you know, there's got to be a limit to that.
Yeah.
Nope, not so far.
Oh yeah, true that. Print that shit.
Yeah. I think 2040 is when Bitcoin's inflationary rate goes to 0. So after that, it won't grow. I think it maxes out at 27 million coins, and that's it. I might be wrong in that exact number, but somewhere around there.
Well, I mean, so was your question? I mean, so doggy.
I was
coin.
trying to, because I thought there was like something about it. Like everyone's like, well, it's not good because of this and that. Is that the reason?
The inflationary rate is not good, and then also you look.
Or there's some goofy, like funny about it or something.
It was originally made as a joke.
Yeah, right.
Like so, at a time in the past where where crypto coins were being invented every day, this guy was like, anybody that can program and make a blockchain can make a crypto coin. Here, watch, I'm gonna make one about doggies and put my dog picture on there. He did it as a joke.
Yeah.
And then people got a laugh out of it. So some people bought it as a joke because it's cheap, right? You go, I got some doggy coins, right?
Yeah.
So it was a joke for a long time. Again, not helping the credibility of cryptocurrencies.
Right.
But then I think Elon Musk made some jokes about it. But he's such a big figure that when he tweets something,
Boom.
the joke hits the market.
Gotcha.
And people go out and buy it for some reason. So there's a weird thing where the joke has become a strange reality. Like it started as a joke, but now.
So do you have some of that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Because it has some value.
Yeah.
And there are places where you can buy things with it. And if you made a profit on it, the IRS wants to tax you. So aside from its really wildly fluctuating value, I mean, it's pretty much money, right? You can buy stuff with it and you own a certain things, but
I guess anything could be.
Yeah, I don't suggest buying it because you just look. For me, I just look at the developers. If I don't know what their numbers is, I'm guessing probably if they have 2 developers working on their coin, improving their coin through time, or you have Ethereum who has like 7,000 developers, you're going to guess which one's going to probably outlast the other one.
True that.
Actually, I don't know if it's 7,000, but it's a huge amount on the Ethereum developer network.
or how long would that joke be funny?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So when will Elon get bored of joking about it? Then what happens? Because I think he just went on Saturday Night Live, and
Yeah, there's a big controversy with that, right?
yeah, so that's huge visibility, right? And then what? Then does he try to find some next ridiculous? Is he gonna?
I think he comes up with a pretty ridiculous shit.
I
He
think
came out with what was the flamethrower that he came out with?
Yeah. And so for him, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to try to increase your monetary value, that's a wild bet to make.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things.
We live in Vegas. We do stupid shit like that all the time.
I think I saw an article. He's going to make a physical doggy coin and plant it on the moon.
Oh, jeez.
Because there's an expression to the moon for the value of a cryptocurrency.
Got it.
So again, another joke. But if he literally puts a doggy coin on the moon, then that's highly entertaining and people will buy more. And
Wow.
So does the joke end after that? I don't know.
I guess the joke ends when he's out of ideas.
Yeah, the dude literally has a rocket company. He's already put
He
put a car in orbit to Mars. So I'm not going to say he can't do it, but
there's something with that boy, huh? There's something.
I mean,
he's smart, but you can sometimes see in his eyes. You're like, I don't know, man. He's kind of.
No, but I love it because if I was a billionaire, I'd want to at least entertain people.
He's very entertaining.
Yeah, he's trying to do some awesome. Electric cars is great for the world, right? He's pushing the advancement of electric cars. He's making access to space cheaper. He's doing a rocket company, fantastic, right?
The underground
Boring company.
The boring company.
Yeah, so most people would be too busy with one of those things and chasing their billions, but he's just doing those things he wants to do them, and then
that's why Jeff Bezos looks at him like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, see, but I wish Bezos would do some fun stuff, right? I'd like him more if he did. That
guy looks like a I don't know. He just looks like a villain. He has like that one crazy eye. He needs a monocle on it. He looks like a crazy billionaire.
Yeah, I wish he was doing more fun stuff or fixing stuff. Like just start buying congressmen and start changing the rules.
Yeah.
Fix education or fix healthcare or fix.
It's pretty greedy though. You can kind of get that.
Or fix all the potholes in the U.S. That'd be something, right? Like I haven't seen a pothole since 2017.
Shit, go look at my road to my house, man. I don't know what happened. I think someone crashed a car in front of it.
Besides all the
ate the road up there.
Prostitutes on the hanging out on the road.
Besides all my girls on the corner there
distracting all the drivers.
Well, we need to fix it so they can walk in their heels on that
road. We need marble sidewalks, Jeff Bezos.
All right, next question. What's the biggest problem for humans? What should they do to fix it?
Whoa.
Pothole hookers.
Shit.
Potholes.
That's heavy, bro.
I think we just need to live life knowing that things are unbalanced and we need to be okay with that. And we need to find a balance within this unbalanced world. You know what I mean? We need to try to get ourselves together, because you can't really help the world until you can help yourself. I think if everyone looks at themselves as like a project, they'll stop like fucking things up for other people. You know what I mean? Until you have some knowledge for yourself, you really can't, you know, or you can't help somebody. If you're just spilling bullshit, that's how things in this world get fucked up. You know, you say something that's not true, and it just goes and turns crazy right away. So maybe finding your own equilibrium within yourself first before doing anything. I think that's a good thing. You know?
Yeah, I think that's really good.
I don't know about all humanity. I mean, I don't know about other countries that are war stricken and shit like that you can't really help them, you know. But I mean, do what you can to, you know, help your immediate people. So
yeah, I
something
agree
like
with
that. And then eventually maybe it'll go and span outwards to everyone, you know.
I feel like that it almost has to stem from government to push that. That sounds.
You're so anti-government.
I am anti-government.
Yeah, I don't know,
because I think if you have a government that's either, say in America, corporate interest the whole time, you're not teaching morals. Is it the focus of a government to teach morals? I don't know. I would imagine that would behoove the country when you do that, because then the country works better as a whole.
Well, you said it earlier, like seeing people as people. You know what I mean? That's what the government needs to do. Again, they're seeing us as statistics and little numbers. If you start seeing them as actual people doing things and having real lives, then maybe that's, I guess you can make a real big change.
I feel like it would be a win-win, because then you would get people that that really love their government and love their country, and so then pride and
we definitely lost pride in all these last few administrations, you know.
And I feel like that would be a win-win, because you have pride for your country, and then you're continuing to support the message that the government has. It's a weird thing. I totally understand. It's weird for me to say government should push morality. I understand that's weird.
So they did around like JFK era, you know, they're pushing morality, or at least like.
Well, they make laws. Is that?
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't that tell you what's moral?
Well, no.
I'm saying that
sometimes these laws are just made because it makes somebody
somebody
has
more money
feel better, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these laws are just so, it's like, what? Like, who made that law? That's kind of dumb. I just think, I don't know, maybe just helping people. I just think like laws and all this shit, it's all created by just human beings anyways. Like once we get down to the base of it, we're just all humans. Like we need to look out for each other. I think that's the key to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fuck government as a entity. Just we're all people. You know, like they're people, we're people. So I don't know. It just needs to come down to that.
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Yeah.
Next question. Think of at least 2 friends that should do this conversation. Call them out.
Let's see.
Can you get the dude with the black hat?
Yeah. Satan.
The Satan guy, the Satan karaoke guy.
Actually, my wife, Andrea, because for some reason, she has this balance as a person, you know, knowing her.
Smooth.
Yeah, man, she's actually a really good person. Not just because she's my wife, but like she teaches me every day how to be a better person. And I want to know what her look is on the world. Like we'll talk, and I mean I know who she is and what her visions are, but I like to see what you would bring out. Like that'd be pretty crazy.
Okay,
you know, someone like that, my wife. So, babe, you're on. And then,
She's also works for our city police force. Is that correct?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she'd be an
She
interest.
does the fingerprinting. She does like
so not a street cop.
Not a street cop. She's like just a local. Like she doesn't have a gun and badge or anything. So she does like the fingerprinting, the background check. She's actually the one that issues our work cards for us to work in the casinos. She does like sexual predators and like convict registrations, and she does stuff with that. You know, it's pretty cool though.
See, our laws tell us.
Her thing is 2 years from now she wants to be in the FBI. So she's trying to learn all the background stuff to that. You know.
Yeah, our laws tell us it's immoral to be a sexual predator.
Yeah.
See, they're doing good
Okay.
work.
Okay.
You're just not giving them credit.
Gotcha. There's some good in there. Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. I didn't know she was aspiring to FBI.
Yeah, she went to school for biology, so she wanted to actually be a marine biologist, but that's not going to work in the desert. Yeah. So biology, though, is her thing, so she wants to work.
Wait, did she go to college in New Mexico? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
They have marine? Oh, just biology.
Just biology,
okay,
but she wanted to go and like get her master's somewhere else and do that, but
yeah.
She married me, and I kind of threw the plans out of the thing, but whatever.
You derailed her life.
Yeah, I derailed her a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, she wants to do other things, but biology is like her thing that she loves. So she's gonna try to do the FBI and maybe get on the like forensics type thing, or maybe even like just some crime investigation side, you know.
So she could explain mitochondria really well.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, I couldn't. Yeah, and then one other person. Probably, I don't know. What kind of guests do you think you'd want here?
This show's kind of open, like all sorts, all stories, all things.
You get any of those hookers to come down here?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if you can get somebody like that, or maybe like somebody living in Las Vegas, like maybe like not necessarily like a homeless person, but somebody living like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, seeing that different side of Vegas, because you always hear that there's underground city underneath Las Vegas. Maybe somebody from there might be kind of crazy, you know? Some night walkers. I don't know. I don't know, man. Something.
There's a risk to grabbing random unstable people.
Yeah,
into your studio.
To actually get them here, I'm just thinking like to actually get them here, they'd have to live in the city, and the city is definitely service industry and restaurant stuff. People in I don't want to just keep bringing you restaurant people, you know, because if you want that kind of a show where you have a lot of people, don't just bring in the same people. So I do have people in mind, but yeah, I'm trying to think outside the box, you know.
Yeah, you need crazy bum in here.
You know, bum in here. Tell them there's a shower. No, I'm just kidding.
Got some sandwiches.
Yeah, sandwiches, some mayo, some Kahlua and Tito's over there will make you a white Russian.
All right, final question. Tell me in a few sentences or less what this conversation was like. If you've done a podcast or interview before, describe the biggest difference. I may use this answer in a video collage for new potential guests.
You're the bait.
I like the process. I have done like a version of a podcast with my brother. We just but we're mainly talking to ourselves. We never had done it with a guest or anything like that. So, but we just didn't have that kind of a like viewership, and like we have those kind of things happening at that moment. And then my brother and I are trying to do this like IRL in real life kind of almost, I don't know if kind of like, hey, you see like on like talk shows like Conan or something where they go on the streets and interview people, almost like an on the spot podcast, but without all the bells and whistles that you would see on a show. Cause it would just be something different. You know what I mean? So this, I do like this setting, cause you can definitely kind of get to know somebody for a longer period of time. This is like they don't feel so like rushed to give us an answer like they would on our show.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, I mean this is definitely a traditional format, and I think yeah, but you can definitely take it out there. You know what I mean? Just depends on who you want in your house and who you're trying to interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want people scoping out the place. No. But no, this is, yeah. I mean,
steal all my good alcohol.
Yeah. Definitely. Or you can add more drinks to the mix. You can be drinking a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That can make for some really interesting conversation.
All right, gentlemen. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Isaac.
Thanks, Isaac. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Best thing to come out of New Mexico.
Hey, right on.
Sorry, that's not a knock to New Mexico.
No, New Mexico's actually a really good spot. Super cool.